take it down. My name is Matt Smith, in studio once again with brother Daryl Curtis as we bring you the action on day 3, the final day, and the big one. It's already been a massive story. We've had pretty decent weather. The weather has definitely played its part, though. It's been rolling in and out, as you would expect, always on the mountains, to see where we are going to be. But remember, it is going to be a round number 2. This is where we wrap things up for the second round of the championship. The third round is going to take us across the big pond, and that's going to be into the US of A. Round number 4 is going to take us to Sweden. Round number 5 goes into our another stop into Aberstone. That's going to be our Italian round. Roof of Africa, back on home soil. Well, very nearly home soil for us South Africans in September. The earliest ever running of the Roof of Africa. And then the classic Sea to Sky in Turkey before we wrap things up a little bit later on. Right now, it's round number 2 as we start to look at the championship points. Daryl, championship points is where it's at.
Yes, it is. And we've got Billy Bolt in the early lead, of course, with virtual standings. Manny Lettenbichler is actually first on the road at the moment. Teo Kabachev third, Mitch Brightmore fourth, Ashton Brightmore fifth, and the first of our juniors.
And the big story today is points make prizes. It is a mass start, and everyone will be elbows up racing today. It's a 5-kilometer track that we're going to be following out there, and we've got absolutely tons of cameras. By my count, we had over 10 cameras out there as we're going to go and traverse this 5-kilometer run. Now, the riders have had a good workout. Yesterday, Daryl, it was a long day in the saddle.
115 kilometers, and a day before that, 60 kilometers, and the night race. It was a grueling day yesterday, 5 hours in the saddle. Certainly took its toll. And today again, I mean, it's going to be just non-stop, big motocross race. It's been raining out there, super slippery.
Top qualifier, then Manny Lettenbichler yesterday putting over 8 minutes into his rivals. So it looks like Manny, the reigning world champion, the former multiple world champion, or should I say the reigning multiple world champion, is going to be the eye on the prize. Billy Bolt's in good shape. The Brightmore brothers are absolutely primed for the 2026 season. And Mario Roman, well, we talked about how many championships he's got here at this event. Himself and Wade Young also seem to arrive at this event. Just 2 weeks since the opening round of the series was held down in France, where the last day, the weather certainly threw the massive curveball, but it also set things up for what is going to be a spectacular day out of racing today. After this, just over a month before load up and head on down and get themselves ready for the next round. That's going to be a serious story that we'll be following for after this event, because US of A will bring some USA classic riders out. Right now, the spectators have been filed further back. They were way deep into the section, and the course officials actually did do a bit of a cleanup job as well. We had 3 or 4 little raindrops that came and dropped them way down there, and it actually has helped the course in some sections. And on the river sections, it would have opened things up as well. When we go into the rivers, you'll notice that the rocks are covered in that beautiful non-slip green stuff. It is going to be greasy out there. A lovely spread of terrain for the riders to work with as well. We start in the sandpit, the quarry section, before we go up into the forest. And when we start dropping down into the rivers, that's where things will start to get tasty.
We saw some visuals earlier of the morning race. And the rocky sections there, I mean, there's some super steep climbs that are just, you've got to hit them first time and get it right. Otherwise, you're going to, fall down to the bottom again. And I think it's going to be, you've got to clean each section because the guys are going to be coming hard and you don't want to be caught up in that.
Yeah, that's what we've been watching. So much visuals coming out there as well. So you'll see the front bunch will stay together. Manny, Billy, James Moore, he's been qualifying very, very well. He actually had a good run this time around. He said he wasn't really primed and ready for the opening round. Wade Young, also, you can see just the riders are just gently easing their way in as we drop into the first of the riverbed sections. This is where the riders just are starting to feel their way through. The Brightmore brothers, everyone just trying to keep the revs low for now. Brightmore, Lettenbichler, Bolt, Young, Jarvis. Also, we'll keep an eye to see where Jarvis is going to be as well. He is our leader in the senior category as well as the leader in the electric. Sorry, he's not the leader in electrics, but he's certainly the leader in the senior electrics as all the riders make their way into the riverbed section. Matty Green is out there as well, trying to understand how he is going to run, but he seems to be primed and ready and comfortable with this style of riding terrain. It's fun to understand how the riders are going to come into this one. There's Gomez. So as we said, Gomez has got 2 wins under his belt. Yeah, he's been around the block a few years. There is Jarvis coming through on the Jarvie. So much noise about that bike, still very much in the early days of development. Carlson is there rocking the lumberjack jacket once again, and it looks like the SA Trademore Sherco boys are in the mix as well. That looks like it might be Walker who has arrived there. Remember, these guys are running. That's Walker, sorry. So that would have been Brandon Swanepoel ahead of him. So the riders are going to be all over each other. The good thing is, though, the riders that run inside the top 20 can all very much hold themselves together. But I think lap number 1, you're not going to see anyone attack too hard. It's going to be lap number 2 where the riders will start to figure things out and start to find some gaps. I think when we get into the more big step-up climbs, you're going to understand where everyone is going to be able to separate themselves. Daryl, I think coming into this today, though, Manny Lettenbichler, that big warning shot that he fired yesterday, 8 minutes, that's not hanging around.
Yeah, Manny's still the danger man. I think he's the best all-rounder that our sport has got. It doesn't matter what you throw at him, he always seems to come through. But this race is all about your start. So if Manny is in the top 5 or wherever, where he'd like to be, he's just going to try to get past everybody and get to the front and then manage the race from there. I think any little place where the guys are starting to get stuck, you're going to start losing time.
Yeah, I think you summed it up earlier as well. We'll talk about the fact that it's going to have to be carrying your speed up the obstacles. None of these riders are going to be able to stall out. We've seen a lot of visuals come through over the last couple of days. 1 or 2 very, very classy riders, world championship level riders like Wade Young and Billy Bolt having to go 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 times through the same obstacle before they can get it done. There's Dylan Jones just dropping his way into the river. He also said he didn't have a great opening round. But these guys, they haven't done too much international travel. They've been across the borders now. They've been in Europe for now 3 weeks. I think all the SA boys are going to be coming home after this one. Not too many of them are going to be making the trip across to the US of A for Silver Kings. But obviously, it depends on where they are sitting in the championship. If it's worthwhile, then it's going to be stretching the passports and stretching the wallets to get a move on and get on out there.
Remember, the World Championship classes, the juniors and the FIM riders have got to do all the rounds, where the World Cups have only got to do 6 rounds. So that goes for the youth, the women's class, and the senior class.
We remind ourselves as well, Brother D, that the guys have been racing out there. They got a little bit of respite, but it's not just a hop, skip, and a jump from France to come down to Portugal. It's definitely going to be a one-stop along the way, and these guys will have put in maybe a little bit of training time in the weeks building up to this, maybe a little bit of bike prep. And, we saw how wet it was on race day. A couple of these riders might have even bought themselves a new set of boots and kit as well, because it was absolutely torrential, horrendous conditions to finish off that last hour of racing in France. But that is in the past now, and we are now starting to get into the thick of things. Remind ourselves, though, just a 5-kilometer track this. So it's going to be lap loop racing. And there is one rider that is really classy at lap racing, and that is Billy Bolt. Likes it nice and tight, nice and intense, and he's one of those riders that likes to learn the track and get better and better.
I'm expecting to see a battle at the front with Manny, Billy, and Mario Roman. Also likes this kind of race. He's no stranger here. Won it many times.
So much development on the bikes. We touched on that at France at the opening round. We've got something like 10 manufacturers coming into the 2026 running of the series. I just saw Lenny Gretzky getting a little bit of move on there. And this angle, and remember, these spectators are going to be kept back because it is going to get wild. You're going to see multiple line choices open as the day goes on. Once again, down into the slick forest. And again, just a highlight there of how greasy the conditions are. If you are slightly offline, it is going to be so tough. And in a situation like this, to get a move on from that position is going to be more than challenging. That looks like Kabachev, and it's going to be very hard to get out from where he is there.
Yeah, that's not exactly where he wanted to happen right there. Just
lucky enough. I didn't think there was going to be enough grip to get that
moving. It looks like there's going to be no traction there, but there is.
You're dragging wet mud onto damp wood. That is going to be tricky.
But you just have to look around you and see how much moss is on these rocks so you'll understand how slippery it is.
Yeah, riders will have probably adjusted their bikes multiple times throughout the weekend, and that's been the challenge of the new format for 2026, where you're doing a lot of man-made stuff on day 1. Day number 2, you're out into the big stuff, and day number 3, you're onto a different area and a different part of that track. So just constant bike setup, constant setup on whether they're running the super soft tires or the extra sticky tires, different mousses every day. Are they going to run the hard mousses? Are they going to run the mid mousses? So a lot of discussions about that. Mitch Brightmoor, classic, running his yellow neon colors, himself and James Moore working well together.
Interestingly enough, his younger brother Ash Brightmoor, first to the juniors and first overall at the moment.
Yeah,
he's leading the way.
I think the Brightmoors came into the season very buoyed by their results and what they were able to achieve last year, and comfortable now on the World Tour as well. They put in a little bit of time in those first 2 years to understand what they're capable of. They seem to have a good setup there with the X-Grip team. They've the second year that they've gone into that whole setup, and that team seems to be growing as well. We remind ourselves all this action is brought to you by Plus Tires, S3 Parts, WEO, our strategic partners in analysis, as well as Factory Links, as we start to just understand the layout and how things are looking as we go forward into a very powdery, blown out track. Now, we saw the morning race absolutely explode this section. You're going to see these ruts get way fast, big deep.
Yeah, there was such a deep rut that formed earlier this morning. The guys were struggling to get up here, but they filled it in nicely. This is going to get a lot deeper as the laps unfold.
Media crew allowed inside access. All the spectators kept to the outside. And then once again, down into the dark forest. That looks like Mr. Jones dropping in there, one of the SA riders. And then the rest of the Eurotech riders are getting it done, moving on through and trying to understand. I think that was Toby Shaw that just dropped in there, another one of the top 20 ranked riders. Tough conditions, because even though it looks dry, it certainly is not. And every time another rider comes through, they're dragging more and more of those situations out. And then they have done something this year, which I'm absolutely loving. They bring the riders back into view of a lot of spectator zones. Now, we've got a lot of spectators out there in the forest sections. They can't really get into the little deep holes where we run into the low valleys and into the rivers. But on the Enduro cross section, this is where you see some of the spectacular riding right up close and personal. This is Manny Lettenbichler. He opened up shop today, and he's got to be feeling confident. He looks lean and mean this year. Very, very strong. He's lost a little bit of weight as well. He seems to have toned in and certainly changed up his training program to get himself ready for another challenge and go forward to try and nail down yet another championship run. He wasn't too happy with how the race ended at France, even though he was given the turnaround results and given the win. But that last maybe 35 minutes of that race was very confusing for the riders, and the event organizers did well to actually control that whole situation. It was tough. When that weather came in, it was a wild ride for all involved, media as well as the riders. Loving this section. As we say, it is going to blow. It is going to open up. We've got a ton of the very best riders going out there. And this track will have shown some good lines in the morning race. There's Gretzky just spinning things up there as he tries to find a clean line. There's not too many clean lines out there in the wild zones down there in these greasy rocks.
Another one of our Brits there, Robert Crayston, gingerly picking his way up the rock.
By the way, if you guys are listening out there, I hope you're enjoying all of this live coverage. The media crew are doing a spectacular job to get us all these great shots. And I don't think there's any nation that's going to be absolutely perfect in these conditions. All these riders, they can ride in the dry or in the wet. And there is just such a mixture of terrain that we're working with here. Some of it looks like Romaniacs. Some of it looks like you're racing in Great Britain. Some of it looks like you are racing in a stadium in the US of A. They have really hit every marker when they've gone out and laid out.
But the shots we're getting as well are insane. Alistream, it's a big drop out because of the weather. We couldn't get all the camera feeds in. But I mean, what a big difference here. Look at the visuals we're getting. We're going to be able to see the whole race. With 10 cameras out there, it's going to be insane.
Yeah. Throughout the event, the guys have been working hard. I've enjoyed all of the other post media that we've seen coming out there. The prologue looked like it was really good. Yesterday was spectacular. Some of the videos out there, and the riders are just chatting about their day at the office and how long it was. And I think they were some of those riders were actually quite blown by the end of the event before they actually came into this one. Now, this is the final day is a bit of a hammer to the nail as well. It's real high intensity to try and get those points. And today is for big points as well. 20 points for the win, 17, 15, 13, 11. And then you go down all the way to 15th place where you can get 1 point. And to win a championship, you need those points at every single round.
And that's how many got the lead on the virtual. 3 points on day one, 10 points on day 2. And of course, the grand finale here, the Lagares, XL Lagares race, 20 points up for grab.
Yeah, that's looking like Walker there. We're making his way through, so trying to improve on his top 20 coming in from the opening round. Remember, just a 5K, but we are expecting it to blow up. That's Sandra Gomez there, our top lady, and she has absolutely done a classic job of work as well. She really is a standout on the gate at the moment.
No real bottlenecks at the moment. Happy to say.
Yeah,
everybody can ride, get past each other.
Early days, a little bit of housekeeping there, getting rid of some of the branches as the riders try and figure out the lines in the early laps and try and understand. Like we say, XL Lagares, especially in the forest sections, you are going to see multiple lines open up, and that is needed and required because Brother Daryl just mentioned the magic word. There is going to be traffic on lap 2 and lap 3. Marshall's making sure that everyone can get up and through. But as you cut through and cut those lines up, you're going to find some more stuff underneath. Spectacular dirt as well. It's got that nice, heavy loam to it. But there's a lot of rocks in this forest as well. It's a beautiful region. This just inland from the coast. The biggest main city is Porto. So it's only been around about maybe 30, 35 minutes for all these spectators to come out. And that's why you see this supported so well by the community. Everyone has been able to get there nice and easily. And this will be the last time they see the riders for a couple of months, as in just over a month's time, they go to Silver Kings and USA. And that's where we're going to see some big rock and roll flavor coming in at the USA round before we go back on tour and start stretching our legs and go into Aberystone, back to Europe. That's going to be in the early weeks of July. And that's going to be Italy. Italy is going to be key on the calendar this year. There are 2 rounds in Italy, separated by just a month and a half. And right in the middle of that Italy sandwich is going to be Sweden. And that is going to be fun because they've hit Sweden right in the middle of summer. So we're expecting it to be an absolutely spectacular event.
There's so much rain that fell here last night, but as the riders, especially in the forest sections, it's still quite dry and loamy underneath.
Yeah.
So there's lots of traction over here, but there's also a lot of very slippery rocks in between. And you know, we saw yesterday there were some smooth rocks, and the minute a layer of sand gets onto it, the second and the third guy starts struggling there.
Yeah, check it out here. These are the riders just working the lines, a little bit of a replay to show that if you don't carry that momentum,
well, ghost ride it.
You can carry the momentum well. You can throw the bikes. We even saw top pros just launching their bikes up just to make sure that the bike got up. They're like, well, if I don't get up, don't worry. But as long as the bike's up, we'll figure it out. So
up is up, Matt.
Up is up. Exactly right. I don't think there's going to be too many straight levers or bars at the end of this one. Expect a little bit of damage to the bikes, but yeah, you can't be what's it called? Mechanically sympathetic if you are in this kind of terrain.
The top boys are definitely going to have to be sympathetic because those rocks over there, you can easily punch a hole in the casing and you can break a lever. So they're definitely going to be mindful of that, picking their way through. And the big thing is to conserve your energy.
Yeah, I think that's going to be key because if you get blown by having to repeat the same obstacle too many times and do a bit of CrossFit up on the mountain, that is going to just blow you to pieces. These are top athletes, remember. They are able to achieve the top results, and they are going to have to hold their breath for 2 hours straight to get the job done. But every single lap, I'm expecting this track to blow up and get a little bit more challenging as the day goes on and as the kilometers get even longer. It looks like maybe Brandon Swanepoel or Garrel going into the low-down section there. But yeah, I love what the guys have done here. I love the new format. It's very exciting. It kind of builds to a crescendo, and that's where you join us with our live show. This we did 2 weeks ago out in France. This is what we're going to do for the rest of the season, so we can understand who is going to be able to walk away as the champion of the event and who's going to put the most points in their back pocket. Remember, Silver Kings to the USA, then Italy, Sweden, Italy, Lesotho, Turkey, and Spain. As we go back up onto the big rut, an incredible section here that has got some good holds. But as we always say in show business, that angle just does not quite tell you exactly how steep that really is. Remember, we've got multiple categories running here as part of the World Championship and the World Cup Tour. We haven't just got the big swingers, we've got age categories, we've got motorcycle categories. The youth category has been a great story throughout the season as well, where we've seen a lot of youngsters come in with a new category opening up, allowing them not just to race against the best in the world, but also try and take down their own championship standalone.
Not in a good place there, old Hugo. He's going to want to try hit that ramp, try get his bike back. I'm not quite sure what line he saw on the right-hand side, but it's not the right one.
Yeah. Tough to kick it from there, but that's perfect. I'm absolutely amazed that that is going to be holding up there. Onto the Enduro cross track then, as we start to see another one of the Trademore boys going on through there, trying to work his way through. Looks like it's Jonesy, I think. Yeah, Dylan Jones, Mr. Jones from South Africa. And they have been part of a 4-man crew. First time to Europe, first time on the World Championship and World Cup Tour.
Pretty cool that they've been spending so much time in Europe. I think between Alistrem and now, they've been in Enduro practicing a lot. They've been riding with Mario Roman, which is going to help them a lot. So really cool to see so many of our South African youngsters out here on the World Tour.
Yeah, managed to make a little bit of a whole day of it as well. In Enduro, they grabbed themselves some common cell bikes. I was super jealous. They went out and did some big training. And like you say, a little bit of helpful tips from Mario Roman, one of the best in the world. He runs his training schools in between the races as well. As we go back down and understand how things are looking and running a little bit deep in the forest there. And this is going to be a tricky situation. Sometimes you can put your foot down into those holes and cause yourself a bit of mischief down there. It is definitely a bit of a worry sometimes. Sandra Gomez, our top lady, not too worried about that. Always great to see her rocking that almost like 1990, early 90s AXO kit. They've gone fully retro, have AXO. And she is teaming up with her brother once again.
For all the ladies out there at home sitting on the couch, maybe it's time to get that bike and dust it off and come and do a round of the World Championships.
Multiple trials rider as we see the Jarvi just disappear. That was Jarvis dropping in down there. And that looks like it's going to be Toby Shaw just following suit. So these guys are working well together. You'll see with the pro riders, they kind of just ease their way into the day. And already we're starting to see a little bit further down the pack. Battles and creative lines and beautiful lines as well. Not too much room for error as the 370 skies that thing up there.
Jan Bolland.
Just enough time to get that onto the ground. He's up with that as well. Don't know if he's planned beyond that move, but let's see what he's got for us. Nice. That was a good hook there as well. And that is kind of like the first shots that we've seen of a little bit of traffic and a little bit of changing of line to understand how to make your way forward.
Big ruts are going to start forming here, as we saw in the morning race. It might look flat on the camera, but this is like really, really steep.
Earlier when we were prepping in studio before we went live, we saw guys with umbrellas and jackets. Then 5 minutes later, they had the jackets down. Then 5 minutes later, they had the jackets up. So I'm not expecting it to be absolutely perfect conditions. I think at some point, we still are going to see some weather roll through these mountains. But for now, it is absolutely spectacular. Looks like Manny in the background there, maybe just dropping in. So we may be coming into traffic already. Remember, these 5K laps will tick off pretty rapidly. There's Brightmoor. He comes through there. So, yeah, this is already the second shot we've seen of Brightmoor coming through into that little A-frame. There's Lettenbickler. So he's working his way through, trying to check out some lines as we go down into the deep holes of the forest. And Lettenbickler looks like he's starting to... No, my apologies. Not Lettenbickler. It is Lettenbickler. Yeah, I thought it was. It's just a change of the graphic there. Just lastminute.com caught me out. But it is Lettenbickler already deep into the traffic. So that just shows the class of the rider at the moment. We'll have to just see how close his rivals are going to be, because in the championship, of course, coming into this round and coming into this final day here at Exile Lagares, himself, Billy Bolt, Roman, Wade Young, Gomez, some key players. There's Billy. So less than a minute, I would say, the gap between our first two riders as we go back and pick up on a rare lowland section that allows the riders just chance to maybe change their goggles, maybe take a sip of the tripper, and then get moving up and out onto the next tech zone. So that's the area that sets you up. A little bit of flatland, maybe a K and a half, just to get yourself ready, get a little bit of blood back into those arms, and get ready for the Enduro cross track. Aramburu making his way through there. Looks like he's in good form as well. You'll see these riders. They won't fade. They'll be strong, but they will start to feel how the track is going to develop or deconstruct itself. Even on the lowland sections there, Daryl, you can see in the boulder garden, there's moss there. So this area has definitely been wet for quite a while now.
Fatigue's definitely kicking. Try to do this for 2 hours. There's just so many obstacles, and there we can see Manny going through there, still in the lead.
Oh, James Moore.
James Moore's moved past Billy Bolt.
So that is a story. James Moore on an absolute ripper, and he has learned probably the biggest lesson of anyone else. There's Billy, but we were talking about Moore. Moore said he just didn't get his strategy right at France. Bright Moore comes through as well. Moore just didn't get his strategy right at France.
He made so many mistakes there. He said on the first day and on the second day, too many mistakes. And here he's coming into his own now. He won the Roof of Africa last year. He's super strong at the moment.
Correa de Matos, he's going to be there in the mix, but already, as we said, straight into the lappers. So that's going to be a story. It looks like the top 4 have started to gap the rest of the field, though. So that's going to be important. Here's Kabachev. So just outside of the magical top 4, Kabachev sits into a number 5 as he starts to grease his way through. He looks good in this style of terrain. I think he's going to run good, but I think we're going to have to watch out for Mario Roman. Roman looks like he was the next rider, and they on point, on cue. Commentators, the opposite of commentators' curse, that's commentators' gold. Mario Roman arrives.
Looking for Wade Young as well.
So that was Kabachev. That's the second of the Bright Moors. There's Wado.
Yeah. So the lead, well, not the lead, but the positions seem to be changing quite a bit.
Lots of chopping and changing, and it's going to be who can pick the best line up the obstacle, but who can pick the best line past the lappers as well. There's Gomez once again, so Sandra Gomez also just having a little lay down on the bike. Look at that, helping a rider because that's the line she wants. So, yeah, we've got to get this rider and his bike out the way before Sandra can go through. So check it out. I mean,
that's pretty cool. I mean, there's
awesome.
Only one line there, and well, there he goes. He's going to stop and go down and see if Sandra needs a hand.
That's Bevan Frost as well from South Africa. So Frosty the Snowman has also made his way across there, looking like he is going to repay the compliment. And Sandra will be appreciative of that, but also that's great work as well. So
nice to see Bevan Frost out there.
Yeah, Frosty the Snowman gets it done. That's fantastic. I was checking out, his name popped up and I was like, no ways. I didn't even know he'd actually gone across that side to get it done. So he is in very rare company there, hanging out with Sandra.
His dad's a good mate of ours, and it's good to see him out on the circuit. I mean, he's just been getting stronger and stronger, and some more of our juniors coming into the mix and getting exposed to the World Championship races.
Yeah, actually tried to, in fact, he did try and race the Stark Vark at a South African Enduro Cross event a couple of years back as well. There's Luke Walker trying to improve on his top 20. So he's also getting more comfortable with the food and drink out there at Europe and his way of approaching and riding.
Eddie Carlson on the other Stark, he's been doing really well. If you look at these results at Alistreman here.
Those guys did so good at France, and I think everyone is now watching those guys. They are very much on the radar as we start to see those electric bikes.
Talking of electric bikes,
am I good at this today? Am I good at this today or what?
Old Graham Jarvis coming through there on the Jarvie.
Yeah, Jarvis has done an amazing job. And he says we haven't even touched the surface of the potential on that bike. It was superlastminute.com. Here's a former champion then in the background there on the beta, Alfredo Gomez, a 2-time winner at this event. So he's a little bit off the pace today, but I think we're going to see him improve and challenge his way forward. Don't ever write off a Gomez in this kind of terrain. So on the flatland section here, this is a little lowland section. Like I said, the riders able to work their way into the Enduro Cross section. And remember, they do have to pit at some point today as well. So there are some rules out there. You can't just keep on swinging off the back. So these riders will be looking to see. We saw a lot of tire changes at France, and that was a great technical improvement. I like to see what those guys were doing. I don't know if the tires are going to get too much of a beat here. I think the terrain in France was very rocky and shaly, and that was cutting the knobs off out here. I think it's solid.
I don't see anybody changing tires out here in this short sprint race of 2 hours.
Nah, I don't think it's going to happen.
Time for that.
I think if anything, it's just going to be a little bit of extra juice going in. The second of the Starks there, and this guy was on fire in France.
Toby Martin, yeah, he certainly was.
Really started to make some headway. He says, he's learning so much. A massive trials background. This is his first full attack on the Hard Enduro World Championship Series, and to come straight out the gate. And his line is kind of ignorance is bliss. I don't know any better, so I don't know if it's hard or easy. He's just going at full send, full attack every time he goes out there. And to be honest, he's got such a light, gentle riding style on the bike. And I think it's custom made for this wagon.
It's also super interesting to watch the electric bikes because they're getting traction where some of the other bikes aren't.
Yeah.
And of course, being linear with no gears, there's got to be some advantages, and other places, maybe it's a disadvantage. I don't know. But they certainly are doing well here at Lagares.
Yeah, I'm enjoying what's happening there. And yeah, we still like to hear these things wide up and get the traction down there. But yeah, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We were watching some of the media yesterday, and the electric bikes were just greasing a couple of sections and not spinning up as much as the rest of the guys. So obviously able to run traction control, and yeah, a couple of electric wizardry are certainly starting to help things out. In the background there, that looks like Juggernaut coming on through here.
With his thumb throttle?
Yeah, he'll just muscle his way through. He's a unit, this lad.
These are the sections I was talking about there with the green moss on top, and super, super difficult to get through here. And that's why I say to be a complete enduro, hard enduro rider, you have to be good at everything. Slippery rocks, the uphills, across all the different formats that the sport can throw at you to come out with a true world champion at the end of the series. So each race that we go to throws something different at the riders, and it's really cool. It's a good leveler.
Just listening to Chug there as well. I was going to say, it was a nice line there. He is a bit of a muscle rider. He tends to just, like what Wade used to do, just kind of smash into stuff, but big enough and strong enough to just tough it out and stay through. Looks like Mr. Jones here. So Dylan Jones starting to understand his European setup as well. Remember, these guys had to get their bikes over that side. They took their suspension with them. They took a kit bag. They took some bucks from mum and dad, and they went and played.
And certainly wouldn't be able to do it without Trademore.
Yeah, no, these guys have done so.
Been really looking after the lads.
Kim's across there. She's the ultimate cheerleader at the moment. She's looking after these guys. The Sherco guys hooked them up with a van and a trailer, and they've been really improving nicely as well. They'll be heading back to South Africa for a month or two, and then they're going to come back and hit the European races. So we'll see them next time when we arrive into Sweden and into the double header at Italy. Gretzky, nice style there, nice high line, looking good. Happy times. Yeah, already well deep into lap number 2 then for our pro riders, as we just start to highlight a couple of the different sections out here, and it is absolutely spectacular. We've got the rivers, we've got the mountains, we've got the enduro cross track, and what we have is massive fan base coming in. Remember, they didn't have to travel too far to come on down and enjoy. So the coastal city of Porto, one of the spectacular zones where we see a lot of tourism coming in, as Baptista just works his way through there. No one around him for a while, so not too much pressure. But it's funny how your revs go up when there's too many more people around you, and it starts to get a little bit tense out there. So Porto, just 30 kilometers down the road. And what I'm seeing, Daryl, I'm keen to get out to this place.
I'd love to go. Look at the spectators out there. It's such a festive atmosphere. Really, really cool terrain. I'd love to ride there, but I'd love to go and watch this race. I think being a lap race, you can see so much. And Portugal's a stunning country to go visit.
Just trying to pick up on the riders here. I think I may have miscalled. This looks like it might be, Tommy the Gun. Yeah, I thought it was Tommy the Gun Scales. I called him Alfredo Gomez earlier. My apologies for that. Gomez is running in the same Lead kits as James Moore. So this is Tommy the Gun, another rider who said he just came out the blocks a little bit too slow at France. But this is a rider who stood on the podium last year in the Junior World Championship. So he knows his onions. Tommy the Gun Scales on the beta, riding under the Alfredo Gomez tent. So he's got good support in Europe. Another rider is starting to really enjoy the fact that there's so many South Africans across there and really getting good support out there on his travels. Sometimes it's just cool to hang out with your mates and hear those South African voices. And that's what we always find. The first year in Europe is a tough one. If you're out there by yourself, it would be a lonely, tough place. But there's so much support out there at the moment, and we'll see those guys back on SA soil probably sometime next week or the week after, and then we'll pick up on them as they go out and challenge the rest of Europe. Jason Macbeth on the 617, just puzzling, trying to get his way out of the river.
You were talking about South Africans, and I see James Moore still stuck in the sandwich between Manny Lettenbichler and Billy Bolt. James in a good, solid second place. When they come into on our screen just now, let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah, I think we're very early days here. Remember, a 2-hour race program for these guys to get the job done. and specks of sunlight starting to appear through the forest. And that is going to be good news for all of these riders. It's going to give them a workout. And just looking at the pictures here, it's like being in the riverbeds down in Hilton or in Nelspruit. It's going to be sticky in there. It's been raining. And as your revs go up, it's going to start just sucking all that energy out of you. There'll be very little air in these lowland sections.
Perfect race conditions. Look at Alistream when the rain came down, how the course changed. I think this is how it's going to be for the next hour and a half.
Absolutely beautiful. If you're just joining us, welcome to our coverage of round number 2 of the Hard Enduro World Championships here at XL Lagares, the 22nd year this historic, I will call it that now, this historic race has been running. This is brought to you by our sponsors, Plus Tires, S3 Parts, WEO, and Factory Links, as we continue to bring you our coverage of the final day of 3 days of racing action. 2 weeks ago, we were out there at the opening round in France, and now we continue the journey as we pick up on the riders making their way up. That was I think that may have been our race leader. That was definitely a KTM, and that was definitely a Red Bull helmet. Apologies for not being able to highlight that, but as soon as I get my eye in, don't worry, we will be good to go.
There was a junior number there that came past us, but I'm not sure if it's being lapped or not.
We are just picking up on the riders as they come through. Remember, our former champions on this event, 4 times on the top of the podium was Jarvis, 4 times Mario Roman. So we have yet to see the magic number 5 come into play. Billy Bolt's got 2 under his belt. Alfredo Gomez has got 2. Wade Young has got 1, and Dougie Lampkin has got 1. Alfredo Gomez took down a 16 and 15 win. Graham Jarvis took his first win in 2010, starting a charge, putting 3 under his belt after that. So it's going to be fun to see who's able to bring home the bacon. We've seen the sport change so much, and the word of the day has been intensity. Intensity has changed so much, and that's why we're seeing different athletes and different styles of riders come to the front.
Organizers have stepped it up. Tires have got better, machinery's got better, and of course the riders have got better. How do you build a course for these guys?
And how do you set a course that is unrideable? And that's what we're starting to head to. Every time we think there's something out there, here's a replay of Wade Young making a move up there as the rest of the riders start to challenge their way through. Wade was just slightly offline there, it looked like, but it's starting to get a little bit busy, and you can feel the energy coming in. It's a little bit of tension now. You don't want to lose any positions, and you don't want to lose the wheel of the rider in front of you.
For the top 5 guys, this is like a flat-out motocross race. Remember, there's big points up for grabs in the final race here. 20 points.
Yeah, it's big. It's massive. If you have one bogey day on day number 3, you could be the man the whole way through day number 1 and day number 2. As Jonesy comes through, starting to work that low line. But let's just pick up on the positions. You can see the graphic on the left-hand side. The world champion, Lettenbichler, leads ahead of Moore. Moore is having a spectacular final day out here in Portugal as Jones just ghosts it up to the top. I like that. Mr. Jones in the house. Brightmoor is going to be a big threat. Roman, I think, is going to be building pace. It looked like Kabachev had a tough second lap, though. He's dropped down to a number 6. Brightmoor, Young, Will Hoare. He's starting to look good as well. Bit of a threat. A little bit low on the radar the last couple of years, but Will Hoare from the UK is going to be loving these conditions, especially down in the riverbeds.
I'd watch Mario Roman.
Yeah.
The harder it gets, the better he gets.
Yeah, what he did in that last 30 minutes in France was and will be talked about for a very, very long time. It got a little bit chaotic, but yeah, he seemed to just come to life and save something for the end there. He said he actually preferred it when the rain came down. He just found his groove, found a hook, and just enjoyed his time out there. And I think after the extreme heat and dust that the riders were having to deal with on the first 2 days of racing, maybe that little bit of rain and a little bit of precipitation and moisture coming out of the soil was a big help for them.
Just talking about Mario Roman, he's come through in first place now on our screen, and I've been looking at the timing, and there's James Moore now, 3rd place at the moment. What happened at the front?
Yeah, something has happened. Someone's come into a roadblock. You might have found that there's, and I know we're like shooting into the breeze here, but on a track like this, it's not a hard thing to think you could find a line that there's traffic on, and your competitor just picks another line. He can see you jammed up, and then the passes happen. We've seen it happen so many times before. I mean, look at this. If I'm coming down there, where am I going?
Yeah, I think it's all about timing. Wrong time, wrong place. Can certainly change the lead. Everybody's right on top of each other at the front. I wouldn't be surprised if there were a couple of little bottlenecks out there. I can almost guarantee it, in fact.
Yeah, I think that's why you see so many yellow shirts. That's obviously our marshal and our helper staff. And there will be some non-help zones, but I think on a track like this, there's going to be more help than none if it's if it's needed to keep the wheels turning.
No, I reckon the whole course is a no-help zone. I think this is every man for himself. Unless the bike is causing a danger, it'll be moved out the way.
Yeah, one or two riders did have problems on the big track yesterday. We remind ourselves that the timing was absolutely wild yesterday. Manny Lettenbichler, the reigning world champion, hammering the nail on the field and putting 8 minutes into his closest rival. There's Billy. All right, so we'll try and pick up. Saw Brightmore go through there. So that was Mitch Brightmore going through. There's Billy. And we'll try and see if there's a shuffle here. I think Roman is in this mix. That's Mario Roman coming through shot there. He was third wheel, but we didn't quite see what the positions were looking like. But Mario Roman on our visuals just 5 seconds ago was behind Billy Bolt. We can confirm that. So we'll pick up on the timing once they come through. At the moment, they are way deep into the lappers. And from now on, it's going to be wild and crazy, keeping an eye on the top guns. Remember, it was Lettenbichler leading out ahead of Moore and Bolt on the previous shot of our race leaders. And I think that's all changed as we're just following Hugo Alves as he starts his voyage through the Enduro cross-section. One of our Portuguese riders, and there will be many of those riders. And remember, this event was known as the original Portuguese hard Enduro. That's how it was marketed and placed into the lineup for all the championships some 22 years ago, 2004, the first ever event. That's a lot of history. I mean, we've got some big events over in SA. There's been a lot of hard enduro events running around the world, but 22 years, that means these guys know how to lay out a track.
You can see how wet and slippery it is still in the forest.
That's
greasy. You see there, that's Will Hoare there, number 26.
Yeah. These are the sections where Will is good.
Toby Martin behind on the Stark Varg.
Yeah. Will Hoare loves to stay in the wet rocks and mud. He says the wetter and greasier the better, as the riders are starting to really battle in the blown out sections. I think the rivers aren't too bad, but the blown out sections, you can see, just look behind the rider's fender there at the back, and these ruts are getting to the point of useless now because they are blowing wide, which means another rut has to open up for the riders to make it through.
Some of these ruts were filled up from the morning race, but I mean, very quickly, a couple of bikes going through, they're going to dig it out again. These ruts we saw this morning were really, really deep. And, for the guys, the midfielders here, they're going to be just making it worse.
See the young riders as well. Experience does come into play, Daryl, as we see that one of the riders in the background just launching it. Carl Gianti, he'll be looking forward to going home to Italy and hitting the rounds when we go there. That's going to be rounds 4 and round 6, where we hit Penafiel and the Wild Woods Extreme for rounds 4 and 6. And that's going to be fun for him to look forward to. Right now, he is out of his comfort zone.
This is what we were talking about this morning. Those ruts are starting to show now, and I think as the race goes on, it's going to get way more treacherous than now.
Yeah. At least it's a little bit dark, that soil down underneath, so that should mean the moisture is coming out of the soil.
Simon Muller there, taking a bit of a breather.
Yeah, it's always worth grabbing the old hydro.
Another one of our juniors. Remember, all the green plates are our juniors, Junior World Championship riders, and then the red is all our FIM.
Yeah, for the junior riders, remember, they'll have cut their teeth racing on their domestic championship racing tours, starting out with a couple of club events, and then going forward and taking on the best in the world. But right now, absolutely, Daryl, I'm loving the visuals, dude. I'm loving the visuals.
Yeah,
every
big
time.
Step from Alistream. The guys have done such an amazing job. I mean, we've got 10 cameras out there on a 5-kilometer track, one every 500 meters. Really, really, really cool.
Every time we see the shots, it's a completely different flavor as well.
Mikhail Gavrilov.
Just catching up on how this is. I mean, look, back in the day, there's no way that tire was staying on that rock. So tire technology has been absolutely huge
Yeah, the new gummy tires, I mean, they've progressed over the years. Soft mousses. You really have to get the combination right together with good gearing. Critical to get it right. Mario Roman was complaining, I think it was yesterday, that his mousse was too hard.
Yeah, went a little bit too hard. So great tires, but wrong mousse. And like you say, it depends on how fast the track is going to be running.
So for the viewers that don't know what a mousse is, there are some of you. It's a solid tube. No more air tubes anymore.
Yeah, gone are those days. Remember, this action brought to you by Plus Tires, S3 Parts, WEO, our strategic and analysis partners, and Factory Links, as we just start to enjoy the show. That's Walker on the right-hand side. So Walker, he's
getting past Mikhail Gabrilov.
Yeah, Walker's on a burner. You can see he's really got his eyes in. Here is the main man, the old man of the mountains, getting it done again.
That bike really does look like a big mountain bike. It looks like a big e-bike, really.
That must weigh absolutely. I mean, it's got a massive brick of a battery in it. But
Robert Crayston coming back down into the creek.
Look at the way these guys are developing nicely.
No, that's Robert Crayston.
Yeah. Just a change up there on the graphics, but it's tough to keep up with these guys. It is. The track is definitely developing. There's Brightmoor in the background there, so we can always spot Mitch Brightmoor in his bright yellow kit there. The X-Grip rider deep in the traffic, and this is where we're going to see things get wild. Timing being everything, Daryl, like you say.
Yeah, Alberto's blocking up the line on the left there, and where's Mitch going to go?
Tell you what, these pro riders are going to have to help some of the traffic riders move through these lines, or they're not going to make it through. There is a line to the right where you can kind of bust over the big line, but that's being closed. Oh, there we go. It has opened up. It was where that marshal is stood on the big rock. There is the line to the right-hand side.
So the problem sometimes when a good line is blocked, then some of the riders got to take a bad line and get stuck and burn some energy.
My apologies, that wasn't Brightmoor. A little bit of track tweaking going on here, and all hands on deck to keep the wheels turning. As we saw with France, there's going to be a lot of development and a lot of deconstruction of the track as we move forward through the day. And it's only a 5K track, but remember, these guys are chewing it up at a high rate of knots as well. So there will be track degradation, and that's why we see the big ruts coming through there. As Moret Clotter, he's been impressive this season as well. He's on for a potential top 20 this season.
Yeah, he's becoming known in the hard enduro circles. He's had some really good results. He'll definitely be there in the top 20.
This could be Garrel. I know we were talking to Garrel offline there. He's out there running.
I think you're right. He's a youth rider, of course, under 150cc, and the age group's between 16 and 20 years old.
Doing very well in the youth championship as well. The first year that we've run the youth championship, and you can go all the way up to a 150cc. Garrel on the Sherco, riding out of Trademore, gone for the 125. So it's not the normal bike that he rides back on home soil. So he's probably one of the riders that's had to really work hard and develop how to understand how to get the best out of that machine.
He said that he'd prefer a bigger bike, but of course limited here because of the age category to the 125 or 150 or below. There's Graham Jarvis coming into the arena.
Leader of the Senior World Championship at the moment.
So remember, the Senior Championship is a trophy cup, not an official World Championship, which is limited to the juniors and to the FIM main class.
Even though he's a senior, Jarvis definitely measures himself against the World Championship riders to see how high he can climb.
Well, he's our most winningest rider of all time.
Yep.
Definitely the GOAT.
He is the GOAT. Yeah, greatest of all time for sure. He is the man. And he's in that sweet spot, and he's doing a lot of work there as we pick up on Sandra Gomez as she continues to work forward and continues her rule as queen of the hard enduros.
I think Graham's really enjoying this time at the moment, developing that e-bike. He's got nothing to prove anymore. And I really do think he's just having a lot of fun out there. This is getting really, really nasty.
Yeah, that is just gross. You can see the bikes are almost disappearing into that rut now. So, I always say you will find hook and you will find some harder ground down there somewhere. But sometimes you find it as the pegs hit the side of the track as well. So it can be a tough challenge.
There was another one of our juniors there, Mark Fernandez Serra.
So that shot that we just picked up on is right at the bottom of this section. So these guys are working those clutches super hard just to get up this section. So mechanicals is something that you need to keep an eye on. And a track like this, you just know that these bikes are going to start cooking. Nice replay of the riders changing lines. And almost got it up and over. Probably maybe 3 riders before that, the track would have held up and there would have been just enough dirt to get around and up and over that rock, but not this time.
Eric Miguel had a good go there, but unsuccessful. He'll have to go back down and try again.
Yeah, but loving the visuals coming in here. We're back down into, looks like Fern Gully from one of the old animated movies back in the day, as the riders work through not only rocks, mud, and roots, and plenty of water.
Mitch Brightmore has moved ahead of Billy Bolt.
Yeah, so we're starting to see changes afoot here. You're probably going to start seeing riders working
Wade Young just coming
their way through there. Yeah, Wade just muscling his way through.
Looking really good.
He does, actually. This event looks like it suits him. Obviously, he's a former champion, so he knows this type of terrain and he knows how to get the best out of himself. We go back and pick up on Tommy the Gun, old Tommy Scales, really also coming to life at the second round of the championships. Nice and busy at the top end of this climb. Tommy, the second rider, he goes through there, changes his line at the top there. As we see Bev Prost, he's getting some good airtime here.
Yeah,
I'm happy
good
for
exposure.
him. Happy for him.
He deserves it.
Good lad. First time out to Europe as well. His dad, a massive, massive name in South African Enduro and Extreme Enduro, and handing the baton across to the lighty. Riders just, you can check this out. I mean, we were here just a couple of minutes ago and that rock wasn't there. That thing has grown out of the ground.
Yeah, the course changes. Oh, and there we got Ash Brightmore trying to get past.
Oh, here we go.
So first of our juniors there, line blocked up. Hopefully he's not going to lose too much time. No, he's chosen another line to the left.
It's probably, you'll find with the pros and the guys that are able to run inside the top 20, not just a different line for the choice of a different line, but an aggressive line, a more direct line, a faster line, but maybe a line that has a high risk factor as well.
They still have to stay inside the tape. They can't go out of the tape, so they're not always going to find another good line.
Yeah, it's something to mention. Penalties were handed out at France, and the penalties will no doubt get handled out here as well. And unfortunately, the course officials will be watching with keen eyes, even if you loop it out and throw the bike out the tapes.
Well, James Moore got a penalty yesterday for leaving the track accidentally.
Yep.
So, yeah, nobody's safe.
What that means is he fell off.
Probably.
So riders just splashing their way through here as well. I have been able to just keep an eye on some of the back tyres, and no one's really smoking those tyres too badly. There's old...
That's Ash Brightmore.
Ash, yeah, he's right in the pink. I just had to glance down at my notes there for a second.
Here we go. This is the problem climb.
Yeah. So that is there's 2 lines to start the bottom of that hill where you climb all the way up, where it's a big spectator zone. This is where on this section there are well over 1,000 riders, and now the left-hand line has to open up. You can see that's why the spectators are applauding, because it's a new line, it's a new approach. But this is just going to blow and blow and blow. There's going to be more carnage on this hill. There is still plenty of laps to come. So this is the high line looking down. Our camera guy is actually climbing the tree to get above the heads of the spectators, giving us a bird's eye view and using the old wide angle lens to understand what's going on there.
Looks like Kabakchev just went past there. But yeah, definitely the sun's out, the jacket's off. Robert Crayston coming back into the screen.
Yeah, lovely shots here. And once again, if you are joining us, it is the second round of the Hard Enduro World Championships from the area of Penafiel in Portugal, the 22nd ever running of XL Lagares, the longest running Extreme Enduro in Portugal, and one of the longest running Extreme Enduros in the world. And we have multiple champions on the gate. Mario Roman, Bolt, Gomez, Jan Jarvis. All of them are in the house at the moment.
That graphic is incorrect. It is Robert Crayston.
All champions in the house then. Trying to see if they can get it done once again. We've got 2 members of the 4 Times Club. That's Jarvis and Roman. And just based on his form in recent years, Roman probably got a good chance. Here is Letty, and I'm going to hold myself back from saying that's our race leader. We just want to get some confirmation on the shots before we crown him as our leader. Well, there's confirmation of him coming through, and hopefully we can stay on the shot a little bit longer and see who else is going to be climbing on up here. One of the stocks here, the 42, and I think that
Eddie Carlson.
is Carlson. I just saw a flash.
There's Billy Bolt's in the screen, so where is Manny?
And that was a Brightmore in front of him as well. So it's starting to get nice and tight. There is Jamamua, or James.
But James at the moment should be in third behind Letty.
Yeah. Apologies for just trying to catch things up. These lap races on a 5K loop, they are spread all over the course at the moment, and we're just doing our best to keep up. But the show is great, and the intensity is definitely starting to build up. Just 30 Ks inland from the city of Porto, and our second round of the championship.
There's many back in the screen.
Right. So this will answer our question, because the riders stay in the open here. So they'll probably, if they are within a minute or less, they'll be able to eyeball each other on the Enduro cross track. You can see Manny actually looking across there just to see where his closest rival is. And that tells me his rival's close. So we'll just open up the shot there for a second, and we'll be able to see where the rest of the riders are. He keeps having a sneaky side eye to see where his rivals are coming from, and do a little bit of a countdown on his clock to understand how much of a gap he's got. Former and reigning multiple world champion, the man that has really made this sport his own in the last few years, following in the footsteps of his dad, Andreas Lettenbichler, the original Letty, now is very much his rider coach, his personal coach, and his dad along the way as well. His biggest cheerleader as we go back up onto the high point of the forest. And those light ruts are starting to get darker. They're going down into the moisture. Ducrot Benoit on the 607, rider out of France, coming out of Allestrem and deciding to join the tour and try and get his world ranked number higher come the end of the 2026 championship, which will see us hit the US of A. Then we go into 2 rounds in Italy that are sandwiching the Forza Orza event in Sweden. That's going to be a rock and roller right in the middle of the season, round number 5. Then we come out of Italy. Everyone stretches their passports and comes across to the roof of Africa. September, late September, the 23rd and 26th, the earliest we have ever run the roof of Africa. So that looks like it is going to be an interesting one as we see the best in the world coming across. Then it's going to be Turkey, Sea to Sky, a classic race as well, and kind of the first of the races all those years ago to put together that 3-day format where you have different styles of events, but they all add up to get to the final. And then 24 MX Hispania in Spain to wrap up the season. That is going to be in late October.
I'm just watching our graphics there with Letty in front. It seems to be a little bit glitchy because the positions seem to be changing quite a bit. But I think what we're seeing there is true.
Yeah. So
I think Manny's definitely in the lead. James Moore second. Mitch Brightmore third. Mario Roman in fourth. And Billy Bolt in fifth.
Yeah, I think that I'm in agreement with what we're looking at on the graphics on the left-hand side there. But I would like to see that Moore, Brightmore, Roman situation, because I do agree with you, Daryl. I think we are in the zone of the race where Roman will light the turbos.
Yeah, I saw the graphics just now said Mario in front, but it doesn't make sense to me. So I think what we're seeing now is pretty accurate.
I think I just managed to pick up on the shiny shoes, the bright yellow Gurney boots of Kabachev, as the rest of the riders start to puzzle and figure out the lines. It's tough sometimes. You definitely have figured the line earlier, but maybe you've got into a line that didn't work exactly how you wanted it to. So the rider's just trying to change up their lines to get into a more square approach. And by this stage, you can see the body language does start to change. The intensity has been extremely high. We've been racing. It doesn't feel like long, but these riders have been out there 2 to 3 laps already as we pick up on Wade Young, riding on Rico Racing this year. He says he's very happy with the power that they have found on the bike as well. They said it's an improvement between rounds 1 and round 2. And he said he was actually very happy how the bike ran at round number 1, but just a few little extra tweaks. Remember, a change up of team, coming off a different brand and a different manufacturer for the last couple of years. And the man who narrowly missed out on the World Championship last year, trying to go for it once again, and seems to have picked up his pace and found his groove here at round number 2. Wade, definitely a big threat. A muscular powerhouse of a rider. Doesn't come from the trials background. Comes from junior off-road racing, where he was around about 6 foot when he was almost 10 years old. Big rider, puts in a lot of cardio training, picks up a lot of heavy things, and really works on his fitness and his nutrition. He's one of those riders that has come into the new world of how to approach the world of motorsport. Definitely a threat for a top 5, and on his day, definitely a threat for a win.
Youngest winner ever of Roof of Africa, and with 9 wins under his belt.
Yeah, he's looking for the magic number 10 to beat Alfie.
Yeah.
Alfie Cox, the Desert Fox, the man that cut his teeth on regional cross-country and enduro racing, and then went on to become one of the stars of Dakar. This is one of our other Trademoor riders. Just trying to pick up on whether it's Mr. Jones or might be Brandon Swanepoel. I think it is Brandon Swanepoel, in fact, because Jones runs the 210 number most of the time. As the riders just muscle their way through. Daryl just going deep into the notes there. We'll pick him up as we go back up onto the big climbs and try and understand what is happening out there. Toby Shaw, one of the Eurotech riders, also working well. You can always tell a rider has had a good day. They're normally pretty clean. They haven't fallen over too many times.
And another one of our juniors. I expect also to see great things from Toby.
Yeah, he's really come good. He jumped onto that Eurotech program. Paul Bolton was very much involved in that for many years, and it looks like those guys have started to pick up the deals. You'll see a lot of the riders who have come from near and far starting to jump onto these programs, and it's very tough to go out there and just one-man bandit, rent a van and rent a bike. No, you've got to be on one of these programs. You need that support structure as we start to see the riders going multi-lines once again.
I think if you've been watching these races, I think you definitely want to come out and get involved and start riding these World Championship events. I think they're really well put together, such a nice spread, and just so much effort from the organizers. This World Championship looks like it's really going to be good this year.
Yeah. Luke Walker showing constant improvement. These guys, to get ready to go to Europe, will have put in so much time racing in the mountains and riding in the mountains. Here's Greeny. He's been a bit quiet today.
Yeah, first time we've come into the screen on Matt Green.
He said he was in the zone yesterday. He said he had a good day. He said he had what was his words? A couple of good moments. I don't know if that means good or bad, but Greeny, teammate to Wade Young, a couple of seasons on Rico Racing. So he knows the team extremely well. Got a good setup as well, and a great approach. One of those riders that just goes out there for the fun, and if a result happens, that's cool. If a result doesn't happen, then you just have a beer with your mates afterwards and tell some stories.
And big mates with Manny and Billy, so he spends a lot of time with them and certainly learnt a lot of tricks from those two.
Yeah, he put in a lot of time in the early part of this year. Based himself in the US of A for, I think, 2 months.
And 12th overall at the moment in this final race.
He'd have been hoping for more than that. He definitely is, in my opinion, one of the probably top 5 or 6 ranked riders.
Alfredo Gomez there just getting stuck behind the Giro. It's waiting for him to clear that section.
It's nice to be patient, but while you're stood still and your competition isn't, it's a problem. So this is where the line opens up there. A slightly more experienced, more skilled, whichever way you want to say it.
Also, not to panic and go and do something silly.
Yeah, you've got
Alfredo's going for that line on the right-hand side that we saw earlier.
If you're a better rider, you do have more options open to you, and it's just a lesson in yoga. You just got to stay calm and breathe through it sometimes, not to get frustrated. And I think the style of the racing this year and the new format, a lot of the riders aren't actually used to seeing too much traffic out there. Sometimes in an event like Erzberg or Romaniacs, you don't see another. If you're leading, you often don't see another rider. But on these lap races, it can get busy.
You've got to compose yourself and manage your heart rate here. Make sure you don't make any mistakes. And like I said earlier, timing is everything. If you get stuck behind a slow rider, it's going to take some work to get around.
Here we go. That's Raman. So he is on the pipe there. We'll try and see, because that's right at the beginning of the lap. So we'll try and understand if he is on the pipe chasing or on the pipe running. But he was definitely on the pipe, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Mario Raman, a 4-time champion. 4-time champion. Almost corrected myself there. 4-time champion. So definitely a man that...
4-time Lagares champion.
Yeah, 4-time Lagares champion.
He's no stranger here.
Yeah. And he'll have a massive fan base here as well. The fans remember. They always do. Hope you guys are enjoying the show so far. This has been a spectacular weekend of racing so far, and the riders will be very much looking forward to a little bit of respite before they get ready and go forward into the next event. Remember, it was just 2 weeks ago that we wrapped up shop for the opening round at the 24 MX Alistrem event in France. We got the job done there. Then we traveled across Europe and down to the peninsula for Portugal. And then it's going to be deep in June. So quite a big gap for the riders to recoup, do a bit of training, and then get all of their equipment across to the US of A for Silver Kings, round number 3 of the Hard Enduro World Championship in 2026. Here we go, back up onto the hills. There's James Moore with a face full of roost. He has tossed the goggles, and he definitely was taking some roost off someone's back tire. We'll see. There's Brightmore. So it's been a long time that Moore and Brightmore have been together. Change of line there, and that is going to be James taking even more roost in the face now, unless he can make the pass. But this should be the challenge for either second, third, or first and fourth.
Wade Young back in the screen.
Wade just tucking it as he went down the front there. Just stalled out there on his way down into the river.
But of course, James Moore and Mitch Brightmore, big rivals from the Junior Championship in years gone past, tussling it out for that win.
Very similar style on the bike as well. You know, James is very tall, kind of gangly rider, but it does help. You're able to put the bike wherever you want to. The Brightmore brothers coming from a very powerful Brightmore family network. They've got a great setup in trials and racing. Oh, there's Ramon. So that answers our question. So it looks like Ramon is still off the back wheel, certainly of James and Brightmore, and potentially of Lettenbichler and Bolt, but we'll hold that thought until we get confirmation of that.
Yeah, the graphics are looking a little bit glitchy again. So I'm not going to believe the graphics right now. I think Manny will still be in the lead. Just wait for the graphics to refresh.
I do believe Manny has done a good job to be able to run out front and control the race, put the bike where he wants to, position himself correctly. I do think when he came onto the Enduro Cross section last time that we're watching right now, he was looking over his shoulder and he looked like a man in control. He wasn't in panic mode.
Yeah, he was definitely
very
in control.
Calm, very calm. So Eric Miguel here from Spain, enjoying his time. And you can start to see a little fade in the body language for the riders that are sitting outside of the top 25. Definitely. Oh, a mistake out front there. Yeah, that
Your
was
words
just
went cold.
Tired bodies. Spectators. Hats off to the spectators as well. These guys have not just been out here for the pro race. They've been out here since the morning event, where we saw the rest of the categories going out there and getting it done. The morning race was spectacular as well. Really showed how this 5K track was going to run, and we got excited as well. We were able to see some sneak content and footage as we see Yakura from Spain as well, just catching his breath. A little wry smile. He turns, that's the line that I took. I almost did that too. I'm sure that's what he said to her. But
I think he's just happy that he's up.
Yeah. I think the little smile he keeps shooting to the spectators there. Yeah, go on.
Getting carved up now, man.
Yeah. Yo. Wide open. Yeah, no, that was a first gear run. That was not second gear as well. So that thing was spinning plenty, eating into that rut.
Now those ruts are getting deeper and deeper now.
A lot of players coming in the background. The third rider coming into shot, I think that is Tommy Gunn. But Tommy Scales starting to make his way through the traffic there as well. He's just behind that bush at the bottom, waiting for his chance to hit the climbs. Yeah, confirmation. Tommy the Gun on the Beta machine, riding under the colors of Beta and Gomez. And there's Lettenbichler, calm, cool as a cucumber, clean as a whistle as well, which means he is leading. He's got clear air, and the fans will know about this as well.
Yeah, that's Manny in the lead.
Yeah, and then your line about timing, brother Daryl. This is where the leaders are about to arrive. These lads are going to have to get the rearview mirrors out pretty soon.
And get out the way and fast.
Yeah. No blue flags in the world of extreme enduro, unfortunately, but it is all up to the riders behind to figure out the lines. We have seen the very best get off and open up the lines in the past. That left-hand line, no, it's gone. That hole just before that rock, we've seen this shot before on a previous slow-mo. That little divot before the rock is just not offering any hook, and the riders are going to have to change things up. I know there's a line back to the left-hand side of this shot around the tree, but yeah, you're going to have to really keep an eye and see how this track starts to develop. But it is on a knife edge right now.
Robert Creston there, just doing a nice pivot for us. Another one of our yeah, that is that's Mitch Brightmore.
That's Mitch Brightmore. If they ever change shirts, we're in trouble. There's Billy, but without context, it's hard to say that he is in second place. But it is our Billy Bolt. Remember, there was only 1 point between them coming into the championship round. That's Tommy the Gun Scales. So Tommy's on a bit of a burner. He definitely, his body language tells me he's in a great place.
Yeah, it looks like he's having fun. He doesn't look too fatigued. But Billy also in the last day or two hurt his hand. Might be struggling there, and he hasn't been enjoying it too much.
Yeah, squashed his hand between the handlebar and a rock, and probably some ligament and potentially some bone damage, but been downplaying that. I don't think he wants to give the advantage to his rivals, but yeah, a sore hand is a sore hand.
Yeah, he has Billy at that same section.
It's a point of contact, and it's tough. It's real tough.
All right, okay, up and over, not too difficult.
Yeah, little breather. Yeah, you can see he's huffing and puffing a bit.
The graphics have changed again. There we've got confirmation that Manny's in the lead.
Okay, great spot there, Brother D. So Manny in the lead, Billy climbing to the top of this massive spectator zone up into second place. So that third place battle is one we need to keep an eye on, which is going to be Brightmoor, Moore, and it was Mario Roman. These are the guys that are definitely a lap, or I don't want to discredit anyone, but either a lap or 2 laps down as they come into the bottom of this section. If you can grease it, as the lads like to say, this is a section that's worth about 30 seconds. But if you have problems, you can lose tons of time. Second of the Brightmoor brothers at the bottom of the hill there. So that's going to be Ash in the pink, starting to challenge for a top 5 position.
So the guys are seemingly able to find a really good line up that climb, where most of the midfielders are really getting stuck.
Yeah, look at that.
Look how quick Ash went
Tells the story.
up and past.
Yeah, you got your timing absolutely spot on there, Daryl. So, yeah.
Ash coming up this gnarly climb. Who's that behind him?
Oh, that was the... didn't quite pick up on that, but he looks in good nick. But, the track is
Billy back into the arena.
Starting to show its hand. The weather is still absolutely pinpoint perfect at the moment. The riders will be happy with that. But, yeah, Billy looks like he may be in some discomfort with that hand. He definitely doesn't look as comfortable as always. You know, you don't normally see him drop his shoulders like that. I think the hand is hurting. I think he's like, if I let go of these handlebars, it's over. So, yeah, he's probably duct taped his hand onto the bars.
It's definitely not fun to do these races when you're carrying an injury. There's no rest and there's no sympathy. This track is brutal.
If you actually look at his body language, he's kind of favoring the one side of his body a little bit more than the other. So
definitely doesn't look like he's in normal Billy Bolt attack mode.
But, you know, if you can survive this one, remember, we go to the USA and it's racing at the end of June. So he's got some time in hand, excuse the pun. He's got some time in hand to get everything fixed up.
Oh, this is looking nasty now. This could cause problems for the leaders.
Where the rider in the front of shot on the KTM is pointing, though, there is a pro line
to the left,
but just inside of the tapes. And these guys are having to work together. The good thing is there is a lot of camaraderie in this situation. I know what that raised hand was. It's like, I helped you. What about me, bro?
Yeah, they're going to come back and help each other.
It's always funny when you see the hand. The what now hand. It's called something else sometimes. 5 o'clock traffic on the highway. This is our eye in the sky, bringing you all of the damage on the way home. Yeah. It's Will Horn, it?
But it's pretty cool though, because a lot of the riders are looking behind them. As soon as one pro passes them, they'll make sure they don't block the way for the guys that are following. They know how important it is. It is a World Championship race.
Yeah.
Another one of our juniors.
Good riders briefing as well. We are using all of the technology at our disposal, and the race organizers making sure that everyone is fully aware of how the race is going to be run and the situations to handle out there.
Yeah, sometimes these bikes get really jammed up. The foot pegs get caught underneath rocks when the ruts get deep like that and unable to move it.
That's a peg under a rock.
Oh, and there we got, who's that? Is that Alfredo Gomez?
That's Gomez. That's Gomez making his way through there as well.
Luckily, there's a left line there. He'll go and hit that.
He kind of just arrives above these riders' heads, and that was Jarvi behind him as well.
Oh, Jarvi, you're right. Yes.
Yeah, I just saw a flash of him come through there. So
there we go, and another flash.
old pals on the tour on completely different technology. One is naturally aspirated, fire-breathing fuel, which we love. One is the new technology of batteries and the alternative power plants of the e-bikes.
Robert Kirsten getting amazing airtime here. There he is again.
He's become your guy. There's Matt Green.
Yeah.
The Greenies come through. Couldn't quite tell who Greenie is hanging with at the moment. Looks like he's on his own mission. One of the beta riders on his wheel. Definitely looks like he's running the same pace as Greenie. But in the overalls, it is Lettenbichler, Billy Bolt, Mitch Brightmoor, and Moore, the stories. Oh, Bev Prost also getting some high fives here as well. So the rider, we'll keep an eye on how his results look, but at the moment, body language tells me he's in pretty good shape. Holding his shoulders still high, just trying to pick some lines and understand how to keep the beta moving on forwards. But,
youngster with some good backing. I'm sure that his dad's going to be able to get him out to a couple more of these rounds.
Oh, very excited. There's Mr. Jones, Dylan Jones, for the Trademore Sherco Racing Squad. I'm loving the program that they've put together. 4 kids, a couple of mums and dads, a van, and a very sore credit card by this stage of the game. But they'll be heading home to lick their wounds, get themselves ready for the rest of the challenge going forward. Lap racing, you're like, oh, how many more laps? How long have I got to go?
But we haven't seen a really strong South African contingent like this for a while.
Yeah.
Really, really cool to see. And I expect a lot of these juniors to come up through the ranks and obviously become our full-blown FIM riders with time to come.
Yeah, great backing and support from Kim and the whole Trademore Sherco crew. And it's good that they actually committed and went, we're going to go across there. We're going to go hit it for a month. We're going to lock it down because that international travel can smoke you. Here's Greenie. And if Greenie can't get up, then you've got to know. We're starting to get to that stage of the game where it's starting to become a CrossFit class.
Good job, though. Didn't get too hung up there.
I love how low you can rev the modern bikes. There's no way you could keep those revs that low back in the carburetor days. And these guys are doing
and the tires, remember?
Yeah, tires, man. Are you guys
motocross tires? No, these.
Yeah, back in the day, you just had, a back tire and the front tire. That was the 2 options. Oh, there's a rider that I think has ghosted his bike up and over. But as you say, Daryl, as long as the bike's over,
yeah, up is up.
We'll figure it out.
Doesn't matter how.
We'll figure it out.
I have to admit, I've done that a couple of times in my life.
There's Prosty making buds.
Again, yeah.
Making buds out there. Okay. Hopefully Prosty's going to return the favor. Let's see.
It depends on how much help he got.
Well, yeah. It depends on how long he waited.
Yeah, let's have a look and see.
But we're getting deep into this one. So the riders will start to feel the fatigue. Remember, they will go through a decontrol into the pits, and they will be able to catch their breath a little bit. Oh, there's Prosty. Well done, buddy. Well done.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. I mean,
learn the game.
Somebody helps you got to return the favor.
Play
that
the
simple.
Game. Ooh, you called me out there, Daryl. I was taking a sip there. Catching my breath there, trying to wet the whistle. Yeah, I'm also starting to get smoked out. These guys are putting together a good format. There's Greenie just arriving in the background there. So I'm trying to just keep an eye on the back tires when I come through sections like this. Oh, the lap is just moving over nicely. That's cool of them. So, I think the guys are enjoying their time, and the pro riders will keep the intensity up, and the guys outside of the top 30 will start to feel it now. This is where the hurt comes in.
Yeah, the track's getting pretty carved up now. Not nearly as bad as a morning race, though.
The numbers are good. So let's just run through the format that we've been running so far this weekend. The prologue setting things up. Yesterday's big day out in the office. There's Jarvis on the Jarvie. Still, my ear's starting to just get used to that sound. It was a very rare thing. The Stark boys were kind of the first champions of that. Carlson was, he's kind of like made his name in the sport as being the e-bike guy. And his nose is probably a little bit out of joint with Jarvis starting to become so good so quickly. But yeah, it is a part of where the sport is heading.
Yeah, it's definitely put the Starks on the map at the moment. Having a look at Ericsson and Toby Martin and Graham coming through like this. We've got mainly 3 fast electric bikes in the race. And it's definitely something to look at for the future. I think it is going that way. I still prefer my 2-stroke though.
Yeah, man.
There's nothing like a smell of 2-stroke.
It's the smell, it's the sound.
It's that rev.
It's I love it. I love the fact that Jarvis has obviously gone through everything. He's had a crack at everything through his career. He's one of the riders that started things out. He was one of the original names when we started to use the word extreme enduro. And I think he was the first of the wave of riders that brought trials skills and that trials kind of talky riding style approach into the mountains. And from then on, everyone was doing that style.
Before Manny Letterbichler, Graham dominated the sport. He was the one to beat. He's won every race out there, every hard enduro race that there is.
Yep.
And of course, his age now, over 50 now. He's just turned 51. Can't believe Graham's still riding like that at the age of 51, competing with the best in the world, in the World Championship.
Go check out whatever his diet is, whatever pills he's on. It's the good stuff.
I think just some raw talent there. Graham's just got some mad skills.
For you guys out there, do yourselves a favor. Go onto YouTube, type in Graham Jarvis Kickstart, and you'll see him as a little snotty preteen riding trials on a UK TV show called Kickstart. And that's where it all began. It's out there, believe me.
I'm going to go look for it, Matt. I don't believe you.
It's there. That's where I watched it as a kid. And I actually wanted to be a trials rider. But, then I found out the word motocross. And then, my dad was like, not into that. Trials or nothing, he said. And I said nothing. What was I thinking?
Matt, you could have been here. You could have been on screen right now.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, here's the lads then, working their way through the forest. Another one of our Trademo boys. Remember, the Trademo boys made up of Damon Garrell, Brendan Swanepoel, Luke Walker, and Mr. Jones. Lads working nicely. That's certainly not Mario Roman, sorry to say. It's one of the SA lads working their way through. Apologies for missing out on the names. Still trying to catch up on what international numbers the lads have been running since they got their passports out there. But fair play to all of them. They've really been learning a lot.
David Cyprian there. First time we've seen him. He's also been
Dave's been around a while.
Big campaigners on the Hard Enduro World Championship Series.
Yeah. One of the top European riders. One of the first Europeans that started to go on out there and hit the entire tour. Try and put together a championship. All right, we're starting to get into the zone of the track now. I know we've been kind of the prophets of doom, and I apologize for that, myself and Daryl. We just know how a track can start to develop or deconstruct itself, and we are now in that window.
Yeah, then we got...
The pipes are starting to sound a bit different, Daryl.
They are indeed.
A couple of header pipes getting knocked a bit skew. So that's going to lose power to the engine. They can still work, just start to score them a little bit. So you'll be wanting to do that repair sooner rather than later. Oh, the rider's just hugging some... look, his right hand there. His right hand just got jammed up under the handlebar. That's all. Oh. That's probably something that happened to Billy during yesterday as well. It's very easy to put your hand into the wrong place and then your bike stomps it down and you get a handlebar or a lever to an appendage on your body. And some of the more extreme appendages, hands, wrists, fingers, and arms are the sore ones. And there's Walker, still rolling nicely. I think he's doing a very good job of work.
It still looks like he's in good shape.
Yeah. Body language is gorgeous, even styling it up over the tables.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All the riders said they have really worked on their square edge riding coming into this round.
There's old Ash Brightmore.
Yeah, he doesn't have to work on his square edge riding. He knows what he's doing.
Choosing that right-hand line there. The left line must be also getting quite churned up. Making short work of it though.
Relatively tall rider, not overly tall, but I would say 6'1". He's able to put the bike where he needs to. 371 there. This looks like it might be Garrel, one of our youth riders. 371 confirmed on the side there. Definitely rocking the Sherco as we start to see this section. This is where you start your assault on the next lap. You come under the timing tag and you go back out of the quarry and start making your way very briefly out into the open and then straight into the dark forests before you start working your way up. Flash through, that was Wade Young. Wade should still be in the fight for a top 5 or a top 6.
Should see him past the back of the screen any second now.
Yeah, he just went through just while we were checking the notes there, so he's in good shape at the moment and just eyeing up, trying to keep the energy high and keep on moving.
Looks really loamy though in that section though there, so there's no dust for the guys, which is a big plus.
Oh, that's lovely. I mean, they got a face full of dust for 2 days straight in France.
Until the rain came down, then it changed everything into a quagmire.
Came down, yeah. Literally a different race, and it all happened within less than half an hour. It was some sight to behold for the riders that are that have enjoyed their time. Martin and Estera, Spanish rider. You'll like these dry dust bowl sections. The Spanish riders, much of their riding is quite dry and exposed. Not to say they don't go into forests, but yeah, it's like us over here. The majority of the riding is pretty dry. Here's James Moore. Yeah, big jammer. Definitely way over 6 foot is James. I think he's in the 6'3", 6'4", able to just pivot off
tall legs,
those tall legs. It does work well.
Huge advantage.
It does work well. The World Factory Sherco riders here. The tall lad that tells us there's Theodor Kabachev, the man that was in very good form yesterday as well. I think he will be happy with his approach to racing. And this is Jonesy, Dylan Jones, getting plenty of time. The camera loves him.
Definitely getting his money's worth. Good shout out for Trademore.
Yeah, he's one of our junior upstart riders. Came out of the junior series and started to develop. Here we go. There's our race leader. I almost wanted to look backwards there on the camera there to see if there was anyone near his wheel. I think he is extending off the front at the moment.
Graphics on showing true there as Manny comes back into the arena.
Great aerial shots there to show you the region that we're working in. Remember, we are high on the hills in between the rivers of the Susa and Kavula rivers. And this just shows you the area that we are able to work in. Beautiful terrain and a lot of new venues and new events added to the World Championship Tour in 2026 to keep things new, fresh, and exciting.
Manny been absolutely faultless throughout this race.
There's Tommy the Gun, Tommy Scales, working his way forward there. Seems to have arrived at this event and screwed his head on nice and tight. A nice aerial shot there to give you an idea of the pits and the baseline area, and an absolute gorgeous, gorgeous place to come on out here. Remember, as part of the World Championship Tour, we're shining a light on some of the cultural heritage and tourism areas where we go out and race to give some community feedback so you guys can come out and check out the racing and maybe go and check out some of the spectacular areas around. Remember, Magic Land, it's home to Portugal's largest theme park, as well as the best enduro riders in the world right now. That's what we're watching.
Dylan Jones getting a little bit stuck there in that rut.
Yeah, we are at the situation. I can see Benny Carlson arriving here in the background there. So Benny Carlson coming in. So yeah, there's a little bit of a yard sale here as well, as Jarvis has to just follow wheel and pick his way through. This is definitely not a lapper. This is one of the fast lads starting to come on through there as well.
Mikhail Gabrilov.
So Mikhail
just letting Graham Jarvis sneak past.
Didn't look like he was holding him up. Miguel's very tasty rider.
Ash Brightmore.
Please stay on this shot. I want to see who was running in there. Jammed up in the rivers. Yeah, this is, unfortunately, we are getting to not just the stage of course attrition, but rider attrition as well. It's a tricky line, this one. You're in a low spot with your legs dangling. It's Baptista, Portuguese rider. He'll have a lot of fan base out there showing him some support. Just got to yank that wheel. Oh, no, he's not going to get it out from there. He's going to have to step off. Oh,
that looks like a good save.
Yeah. Thankfully, he's got long legs, just enough to save that, because I thought that was going all the way out the front door. But if you are enjoying the show, I really hope you are. We are really enjoying the visuals that are coming in here. Jean-Daniel de Germont on the 613. French hard enduro, French extreme enduro, always had a good footprint as well. They've got some gorgeous areas to racing across the length and breadth of France, and it was so cool to see France pop up as the opening round of the World Championship in the 2026 season. Some of the standouts to look forward to as we go forward. A big thank you once again to 24MX Alistrem for hosting our opening round as we move forward now. It's incredible to think we are so early on in the season. 9 rounds on the championship. This is round 2.
Well, if there's anything to look forward to, I mean, what we've seen so far at Alistrem in here, then this year is going to be an absolute cracker.
Oh, Prosty, you superstar.
Man, he's getting more airtime than many at the moment.
Great to see these riders enjoying their time. Prosty will have put in some extra time as well. He'd have been down to Hilton, as the South Africans often do. Put in some time with probably Wild Will and the lads down there. I know there's a big beta setup down there. Oh, there's a good friend of his, Wade Young, comes through. Wade looks like he might have greased that section. Prosty's starting to get jammed up. This is just line choice. Prosty can definitely ride all of these obstacles, but he's maybe just getting caught up in his line choice.
Yeah, if you've lost your momentum and you're stuck there, then it's going to be extra difficult to try to get through. And you can't exactly go back as Ash Bartmore comes back into the arena.
Yeah, Ash, elbows high, standing high, not even thinking about sitting down.
Yeah, looking really in good shape, not looking tired at all.
No. They've put that X-Grip program together, him and his brother, championing that team setup. As the years have gone on, more riders joining that squad. So they've got a really good base, really good setup. Look at that, dragging bar through there. So intensity is the word that you'll hear me talk about quite a lot. And it's the fact that these guys are not just cruising any part of this track. There's no respite. They are just as fast as you can go on a section. That's pretty much where they are. They're living in the 85 to 90% zone the whole day.
It's all about bike prep, diet, and keeping in that top shape that you need to be.
Even yesterday. I mean, today is... Oh, look at that.
That's
beautiful skills.
Prortugal's coming through there.
Beautiful. Little side hop down there like it was nothing. But, yeah, even the style of riding yesterday, it was a longer day. It was definitely... The intensity was definitely there.
Would you say the ruts are getting deeper?
I was going to say, you can live in that rut. You can rent that rut out and make money out of it. Yeah, that has gone all the way down to the bone, as they say. So when it goes that deep, that is when you've got to go and find another option. From Italy, Carl Giannatoi. Toughing it out there. It's hard. This is the hard part of the sport. You've got to pick your own bike up. You're waiting for a buddy sometimes. He's looking over his shoulder to see where the pros are coming from. And see the crowd is starting to keep the energy high for the lads, because the riders are arriving at the foothills of the spectator zone and they are tired. Go on!
There we go. Good job. Up and over.
Commitment.
That deserves a good cheer.
Yeah. I was hoping he was just going to rip that one. That's perfect. Cool thing is, you have got this little moment to catch your breath as well. Check the spectators, patting him on the back, pumping him up. You need that energy, and I think that's what's cool about the lap sprint races. He greases that as well. The lap sprint races, when you can get all the spectators on the hill, it's a beautiful thing. Lots of media out here as well. Not just me and brother Daryl talking, but as you see, Sandra Gomez is trying to also find some new lines. She just slipped off that one. So she now has to go into the normal line. And right by the tree there, when a rut forms next to a tree, that's never good, because you're going to find roots.
3 ladies in the race, but I think Sandra's really way out in front at the moment. But I can't get over how many spectators there are out there in the woods.
Hooks that roots as Super Mario goes supersonic up and out onto his next lap. Thought I heard raindrops there for a second, but it was just the sensitivity of the microphone. That camera guy is in the deep water there and was just picking up on some of the river and the waterfalls going through. Well, there's that route. Well, that's going to be a problem. If you don't carry just a little bit of extra momentum, it can be the undoing of you. And it's a hard place to get going from there. Yeah.
2 lines there, high line and the low line. If you can get up on the high line, I think it's going to be better.
Remember, after this round, bit of a break, a little bit of a window for riders to lick their wounds and get themselves ready and get all the way across the oceans to head to Silver Kings, the USA, the national round, and what is now 3rd round of the World Championship Tour. Silver Kings, the lads from Silver Kings came and check out how things run at last year's Roof of Africa. They gave it the green light, and they are on the Championship World Tour. That's going to take us to the 18th and 20th of June for our 3rd round of the series. And then it's back to Europe before we get out up into the mountains of Lesotho. Lesotho for the Roof Africa takes us to round number 7 of the season. There is Gomez. Yeah, he'll have a lot of support here.
Yeah, and he's got so many wins here at Lagares. No stranger to this terrain.
The riders now exercising line choice, bike position. Everything is now becoming key. Don't you love how these guys can just pop it like that, like it's absolutely nothing? Super easy, super light moves, and patient.
Motorcycle ballet.
Yeah, patience is key. Yeah. Hats off to Tyre Development, and a big thank you to Plus Tyres, our tyre sponsor and partner for the 2026 Hard Enduro World Championship season. They are joined by S3 Parts, WEO, our strategic and analysis partners, as well as Factory Links. As we travel the length and breadth of the world, we pick up on Greenie. Matt Green has become a little bit of a superstar on the tour. As riders are deciding where they're going to go out to dinner tonight. Because they're not deciding which line they're on. These guys are smoked.
Yeah, I think they're pretty much done. Fatigue definitely setting in there.
Yeah.
Sense of humor fading.
Yeah. So hard. So hard. Oh, that's tough. Oh, Greenie found a line to the right. Okay, so this is
a line. That line is possible. It does exist.
I'm glad a line has opened.
Yeah.
I'm glad a line has opened. So rider's got an injury on the hand. So that
doesn't look good.
That is why there's a problem there. So an injury to the rider. Yeah, he's going to have to
change dinner plans.
Yeah, that's real tough there. Yeah, go with the soup rather than the steak. It's going to be too hard to cut that thing. Alicio de Angeli.
Doesn't look like a very happy chap.
Yeah, the Italian rider. Tall rider, obviously. If he's out here on the World Championship Tour, he knows how to get the job done. Sitting with a top 50 ranking on the world numbers. But tough day at the office. Here's him just sitting in the river there. Just didn't quite get enough pull or hook there. Just trying to see what happened to his hand. Looks like he'd hold on to the bars when the bike dropped. There's Greenie going up and through. He looked like he had the job done there.
Yeah, just the frame hooked a little bit on the top of the step there, so almost.
Brightmoor comes through there in that bright green and white kit. Oh, have some roost there. There's Billy. Okay, so we're starting to find our race leaders once again. So at the last time of asking, Billy was in a number 2 spot. Oh, teammates and good buds saying hello there. Luke Walker, and I think that may have been either Mr. Jones or Brandon Swanepoel. Just taking a breather before he set off again.
Mitch Brightmoor making short work of this section. I mean, the trials background that the Brightmoors have put them where they are now. They would have had to find some speed though.
Yeah,
which they have over the last couple of years. But as a complete package, yeah. I think they're really, really well positioned.
I've been checking out some of the enduros that they run over in the UK, and they're actually pretty fast. So they kind of have the extremes, like the
Fast Eddie series,
Fast Eddies, things like that. So yeah, there is some speed out there. I know Billy raced an event last weekend in the UK, and he said he couldn't believe how quick it was. It was like an enduro.
There's many going through.
There's many. So yeah, no, some of the British racers, and they're having a nice early summer there as well. So it's not too roosted. There's Prosty again.
Prost
Goodness me, he's doing well. He is sitting down a lot though, so he looks a little bit like he might be blowing a little bit.
But he's still got some good pace there. So yeah, looking really good.
So I'm about 3 packets of sweet deep now, so that means I've got tons of energy, and the riders are slowly running out. So we are well past the halfway marker of this 2-hour race.
Well past the 3/4 mark.
Yeah. There's that front end hole there. So a couple of those rocks that are kind of jammed up, starting to move out of the way. And riders finding the holes at the wrong time of the race. Well, it looks like we've got our 5 riders onto their next lap already. Taking the laps off fast and hard. The riders doing around about 20 minutes or so per lap. These guys have been putting in some very fast pace.
Not too much time left.
No, it's a bit of follow the leader at the moment through 1 or 2 of the sections. You just keep an eye on timing. Understand how the rest of the race is going to be running. Remember, 2 hours plus a lap is what we are doing. That is the race format for us to achieve our goals of getting those points on the plate. Remember, everyone racing for big numbers today. All the points inside of the top 15 places will be the riders that are trying to get it done and get their world ranking, but also, obviously, the guys inside the top 3, they are only worried about first place.
As we watched Teo Kabakchev go through there on the Sherco.
After what he was able to do yesterday, I'm shocked to see Teo sitting outside of what I thought should be an easy top 5 for him. But, yeah, you never know what's happening out there. You never know what the riders have truly been through. It is super hard work. Riders just getting jammed up and getting tired. Nice high shot here of this is the beginning of the lap. They come under the Plews Arch. They head up the Red Bull Mountain Quarry. And then it is very, very quickly down into the forests and into the rivers to get the job done once again. A beautiful area to work in. As the riders just tippy-toe into the early part of the lap, going down into the forest. Looks like you're going into a rainforest. Looks like the Amazon. And then you start climbing your way up to the high mountains. So a wonderful mixture of terrain to really stretch the capabilities and capacity of the riders as well as the machines underneath them. Riders sitting, waiting for their chance to come up and through.
This is what we saw in the morning race. These ruts are getting really, really deep now. A lot of these riders, there's not going to be any other way around except like that. If you want to go for it and take a sketchy line.
We saw Greenie hit that. You've got to carry speed into it. But I think it's getting quite festive on the mountain there.
Yeah, the guys are getting tired and they're going to be jamming up those ruts.
Yeah, the crowd can give you so much energy in those situations. It's sometimes, in fact, key to get those guys up onto those mountain areas, and the event organizers and coordinators have done a great job to get so many people out there. We haven't got the spectator count, but just from our eyes looking around, there are thousands of people going out there. I can see Mario Roman on the right-hand side there, working his way through the shot into that low riverbed. So Roman is definitely in with a shout for a podium for contention. Anyway, it does look like the World Championship leader and now the Virtual Championship leader, Manny Lettenbichler, are going to be the ones and twos for now. At the third place dice, Breitmoor, Moore, and Roman. That is going to be the story. Well, let me tell you right now. So that is the second of the Breitmoor, and he is definitely behind Mario Roman, but not by much. These guys in the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth place battle have been very close since the end of lap number 2. Riders in the lowland section here, just working their way forward. This is a little bit of a cross-country section, but we've seen the riders use this part of the track as they drop into the beginning of the Enduro cross section. That's just where you can adjust your goggles, get a little bit of a sip of juice before you keep on going. For me, this would absolutely destroy me. When you've got to hit square edge stuff in front of the crowds, you know, you can hide a little bit in the forests. Not all the time.
I
Not
think
all the time.
for me, it's the other way around. I think you can rest in the arena, and your heart rate will be going through the roof on the forests. I think.
Saw Kabachev go through. There's Sandra Gomez, and Sandra's a diesel engine. Hey, she just keeps going.
Yeah, she's been phenomenal. If you look what she did last year in the championships, the results that she got.
Well, she's coming through. There's James behind her. So Kabachev has come through on James. So James has had a problem, because Kabachev has really picked up the pace. That's the too tall rider going through there was James Moore. So Moore,
I think you're right, Matt. Moving down to fifth place.
Who was the rider sitting in the shout, certainly in the conversation for a top three, has dropped down late in the race. Never say never, but yeah, it's I think that's Juggernaut. His style tells me it's Juggernaut.
Full gas with that thumb throttle.
Yeah, loose as you like. But is still able to pick creative lines and position themselves creatively. Again, look at the tires.
Hugo Alves.
Years gone by, not a chance you were making it through there without really, really good luck or really long legs.
But you can see the boys are getting tired now. You can see the body language dropping off.
No, it is really tough. I think I mentioned this when we were talking about the event 2 weeks ago in France. Also, you'll see a lot of the top pros, they change the soles of their boots as well when it comes to areas like this. So they've got some sticky shoes, not only on their tires, but also on the soles of their feet, because if you put your foot down on those rocks, you're gonna tear your groin open. You know, it can be really tough. You can do a big slip and slide and make some shapes. Kabachev, one of our factory pros. Yeah, it should be Kabachev. So it won't be long until we see Moore.
It's too short to be.
Yeah,
Kabachev.
too short.
He's definitely too short to be.
About an inch too short.
Yeah.
So Kabachev's teammate making his way up there. I think it's our Italian rider starting
Lorenzo
to climb the ladder.
Gandara.
Yeah, Gandala gets it done there. Haven't seen too much of him, so obviously a track that doesn't suit his style. He's very aggressive, very attacking, but you can get found in a track like this if you attack too hard. You'll be looking forward to those Italian rounds. Remember, we hit the Aberstone Rodeo in Vale on the 10th to the 12th of July. That's going to be our fourth round. Then it's Sweden for the Forza Orza event late on in August, and then back to Italy in early September, the 11th to 13th of September. That's the Wild Woods Extreme. That's a very popular event as well. So that's going to look like this. There's going to be spectators for miles, spaghetti, and wine. It's going to be beautiful.
Talking about wood, that's David Wood in the picture now.
You got to throw some back there.
From the UK, yeah. Well, you were talking about wood, so...
All right, yeah. Well, we're closing things down here. We're getting close to the end of which it's hard to say, but I kind of call this a sprint race. It's a very strange format, but I do enjoy it. The riders have had mixed feelings about it. You can see, but it's starting to grow on them, and I think the spectators are loving it. And I think if they can understand the value of what the event organizers and the championship organizers are trying to do, it's a big day on Saturday. It's a big day, and it does smoke you out.
Yeah, the final day here resembles Gets and Rodeo, but you've also had 2 hard days. Yesterday, 115 Ks was brutal, 5 hours, and the day before another 60 kilometers. Throw in a night race.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of riding here, and there's a lot of points up for grabs. Like we said, 33 points up for grabs here.
There is Mitch. Trying to see who is running with him. But, Mitch heading out there. It's going to potentially be onto maybe his penultimate lap. We'll get a highlight, and as Luke Walker skies his way through on the Trademore Group Sherco to get himself in there. He's definitely not dropped off the pace. He seems to be coming on strong and coming good. You can see Prosty the snowman at the back there. He's still working hard on the beta, getting a nice support package while he's across there in Europe.
So I see in the World Championship Series, we had 9 rounds. We have only 8 rounds now, Matt. So the
good adjustment.
Wildwoods Italy round has been removed.
Oh, okay. Well, fair dues. No, I was going to have pizza, then I was going to have pasta. No, I'll just have... I'll have them both at one place. That's fine.
There's Francesc Moretin in the picture now. We've seen glimpses of him a couple of times.
Yeah, it's been maybe challenging. He should be... His pace tells me he should be running inside the top 10. All the riders just starting to as we do in like lap racing, you go past the timing tent every lap and glare at the timekeeper, waiting for that white lap board to come out to tell you there's one to go. And we are in that window now, waiting for everything to draw itself to a close. There's not much left of the track, let me tell you.
Looking at James Moore there, is in 4th place. I wonder if he's going to be able to hold off Billy Bolts.
Yeah, he seems to struggle with kind of like what he eats most of the time. Worries a lot about his nutrition, and battles. He had that health problem early last year and he came back from that. And it's been a bit of a long road for him.
But also super young and our first junior. So
it's amazing. I think he's one of the riders that everyone's keeping an eye on at the moment because, I think since he went across to Europe and took that big gamble last year, got that hookup with Rico Racing, as we see Brightmore come through. I love that little side hop that he does. It's a beautiful thing. I think you'll see riders just practicing hopping off a curb like that. But James Moore, when he actually decided, took a gap year last year, was able to go across, get the job done. And what did he do when he came back to SA?
Jumped on the beta.
But before he did that, he went and won the Roof of Africa. Like, that's no small task for a youngster like that. Obviously following in the footsteps of what Wade Young did at the age of 16. And we remind ourselves that Wade did it on a 4-stroke as well. Big bugger that he is.
Yeah. Won his first roof at the age of 16.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember desperately if it was a kickstart 4-stroke. I can't remember. I think it was a happy button 4-stroke.
I think it would have been.
Yeah, I know it was a Yami. He did well. He was riding for a junior team that was put together by the South Coast Riders. They had a lot of talent back then. And it was Fever.
Fork guard showing some damage there on the right-hand side.
Fever Yamaha Racing, I think it was called. Bits of bikes hanging off left, right, and centre now. I saw Alfredo Gomez in the background, starting to make his way through. Alfredo Gomez just snuck his way through there as we start to get close to the end of this one. It's been a great journey to hang with everyone out there in the wild world of media. Me and brother Daryl enjoying our time. Absolutely loving the visuals here. Great to not see dust like we did out in France. And great to see so many people making the trip to watch the 22nd ever running of Extreme Lagares. Seeing riders now. 1 or 2 riders will have actually parked it by now as well. That's why you're starting to see a little bit more gaps on the track. Not too many yard sales, not too many roadblocks, but the sections as well. Great camera positions as well. The camera crew are doing a spectacular job for us to bring us these images as Mitch Brightmore dances the X-Grip gas up and over. That's Gretzky.
Danny Gretzky, He also been doing really well. Another one of our juniors.
Yeah, really good to see so much buy-in from the junior category. Matty Green dancing his way down there as well. Just, not a bad ranking at the end of yesterday. He was
not where you'd want to be today, though.
Yeah, very happy with his ranking yesterday, but I think maybe just couldn't run with or couldn't get into a position in laps 1 and 2 to go with the guys that he wanted to. And he's one of those guys. He does feed off the riders around him.
Just outside the top 10, though, so he's still in there. And consistency throughout the championship will help with the results at the end of the year.
As we say with Greeny, got his passport out and went and played in the desert. Took on, I think, 3 rounds of the AMAs, and then he'll be really looking forward to the next round at Silver Kings, and he'll be one of the riders to watch out for. The style of the American rounds is something that he'll be very, used to. He'll know how to set up his bike and set up his tires, and he'll be looking for a potential top 5. So watch out for Greeny, one of the USA specialists, when we head across there to Silver Kings at the end of June for round number 3. Enjoying the sounds of the crowds down here in one of the lower sections of the track. Remember, we are pitted high on the slopes between the Sousa.
Many coming through there on the left-hand side, middle of the screen. And I saw a flash of white just now. Almost looked like Millie, but I think I was definitely mistaken.
Let's just stay on there. So that means if he is running that kind of pace and he's potentially going to lap Greeny, so he's going to lap to inside the top 10, no doubt. So that just shows that pace. It's absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, I think Manny at the moment, as he showed us last year, is pretty much untouchable at the moment. The complete package.
So points make prizes. First place is going to be 20 points in your back pocket to set you up nicely. And it's 17, 15, 13, 11, and then down in single digits all the way down to 15th place. 15th place gets the last remaining point. But because it is points gathering, it is going to be super busy from here on out. No one's calling a champion. It's way too early for that, Brother Daryl. But yeah, it's getting close to understanding how to...
Virtual standings, Manny had 41 points. Billy 33 points. Billy came into this race in the lead after Alistrem. Teo 31 points. Mitch Brightmore 26 and Wade Young 22. So it's going to be quite interesting to see once we've tallied up the final after this race.
Apart from the obvious top two last year, which was, once again, Billy and Manny, the best rider out there was Brightmore. Brightmore was very solid and consistent, didn't really have a bogey event, and put points in his pocket at every single tour. So I like his approach to riding. Him and his brother do a very good job of work. The brothers are a little bit closer this year in their overall rankings to each other, so that's why you see them very close to each other on the track most of the time. But then some of the key ones to watch out for from here on out will be Mario Roman. Mario, since he put together his own program, and we spoke about this last time, since he put together his own deal and kind of stepped away from the factory squads, he seems very comfortable.
Yeah, I think he doesn't have that pressure that he would have from a factory team. He can make his own pressure. And he does seem to be a lot happier and very relaxed.
James Moore, we'll always keep an eye on James Moore. This is Garrel, one of our junior riders, in fact, one of our youth riders. So,
remember?
Yeah, making it work.
You can imagine he doesn't have nearly as much torque as the rest of the guys have.
Sorry, I think it's either Garrel or Brandon. I apologize, Ma. We will get that right for the next time.
It does sound like a 125 to me, though.
It did sound like a 125. Like they're able to make some good inroads. And I think that time they spent in Andorra at the training camp between the weeks of round 1 and round 2 helped them as well, because they didn't really get too much time on those bikes before we went in. So we're closing in here. We're closing in on the end of this one. We just got a 7-minute countdown. These riders will be praying for that. For 7 minutes, that's going to feel like 7 hours for these riders. It's been a great day and a great event, though. The 22nd ever running of XL Lagares, the first extreme enduro event in Portugal, and a classic one here. Oh, there you go. Ghost Rider. As you say, Brother Daryl, as long as it's up.
Up is up.
Up is up. She's good. Let's talk about our champions then, since we started to climb the ladder. Wade Young took the win back in 2017. Jarvis took it in 10, 12, and 13, and 14. He was the first member of the 4 Times Club. Then Mario Roman, he had a real good run. He opened up shop in 2019. After that, we obviously missed out on the blip, which was 2020. 2021 was Billy Bolt's second win. He had a first win in 2018. Then it was the Mario Roman show. He had a triple on the trot, 22, 23, and 24. And that's why he's got such a big fan base out here. He's got a lot of big numbers.
Mitch Brightmore there just going through the arena.
And the Trademore Shurko boys finding each other once again. The fastest of them being Walker. Walker has had a good run today. He's going to find a lot of points in his back pocket coming out of this one. So Lettenbickler, Brightmore, Bolt, Moore, Roman, and Kabachev, the lads just sticking it to each other on the motocross track.
Looks like Billy has got past James Moore.
Well, that's what timing shows us, but we'll wait for confirmation on that until we can start ringing the bells. Don't want to get caught out like we did at the end of France.
The graphics have been a bit glitchy, so we can't be sure. It looks like Mario Roman up in 5th then, but he'll be super stoked with that.
Well, that's Mitch going out there. That's him getting close to start his next lap. And that should be the flag coming out very soon to tell them that we are closing in on the end of this one. Great work from all the track officials as well between the morning race and the afternoon race, just to make sure that those lines were ready for the pros. And yeah, we can't ride this mountain for a year or two until they figure things out. Here's the Trade Mode boys banging bars as if it is lap 1 of Supercross.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And a little thumbs up and high five for Luke Walker there as well. You know, at the end of the day, they are buddies, they are mates back home, and yeah, they'll be just living the life. I mean, living the life, touring Europe and racing bikes with your family.
Just can't get better than that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. These guys have had an experience of a lifetime, but I think the first year is the toughest, as they say. So those boys will be back again with a bang. They'll probably pick up some European support as well. At the moment, it's just swiping the credit card and praying you've got enough when you get home to pay for it.
Well, a big thanks to everybody out there, all the sponsors and the teams and everyone that got involved to back these riders and send them out to these races. It's a big commitment, and it's just pretty cool that be able to give the opportunity to these youngsters to be able to get out there.
Yeah, and it's one of the many programs as well. We've got riders from all over the place. What's missing at the moment on the World Tour is the USA riders making the big trips to come out to race in Europe. But I think there's going to be changes afoot, because as soon as the big swingers go across there and take on the Silver Kings, I'm going to see a couple of American riders all of a sudden get interested once again and come out to play. 7 minutes, or just under 7 minutes, until we see the last lap board come out. So probably our race leaders potentially onto their last lap, or definitely their penultimate lap. Lettenbichler's been running probably 20-minute lap times, give or take, maybe just less. Consistency, speed, and attack has been the catchwords when you talk about Lettenbichler. All right, if you can't do the Brightmoor hop, you always just splat it straight down. I didn't know that line was open.
It's the first time I've seen that line.
I literally have not seen a rider go down that line
yet
and head to, we'll call it pipeline, because that's pretty much what I'm looking at there. Oh, what? Fair dues.
Looks like there's a line on the right-hand side there, on the right-hand side of that stake as well.
All right. Hope he can make his way out of there. But otherwise, he can go fishing. There's Mr. Jones and Wado, good buddies back home as well. They've been on the gate together for quite a few seasons now, as we are in the closing stages. Once again, a reminder, all this action for the FIM 2026 Hard Enduro World Championship Tour. And here at round number 2, the XL Lagares event in Portugal, brought to you by Plus Tires, S3 Parts, WEO, our strategic and analysis partners, and Factory Links, as we get close to the end of this one. Former champion, Wei Jun, back onto Rico Racing, and back out onto the European Tour. When he comes back home, he'll have a couple of South African domestic national championship events to look forward to before he also heads on out. Haven't had a call whether he's actually going to go and hit the USA round or not. I suppose it'll depend on how his ranking is looking and how the old pockets are feeling after the first couple of rounds of the championship. From Brazil, and certainly a little bit lighter, removing a couple of parts from his bike, Eduardo Furtado.
Some proper battle scars there.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
From the forest, no doubt.
Yeah, these bikes are looking a little bit tatty from here on out. As you said, as the ruts get deeper and the rocks move, start to see things moving off the bikes as well.
That's what ghost riding does, Matt.
Yeah, man.
It removes a couple of bits.
Yeah. Not a straight bar and a straight lever left in the house, but as long as they see the finish line, that's all that counts. Great work from all of our support as well. You see a lot of the European teams coming in with plenty of spare parts for the privateer and the support riders to make sure that they get whatever they need to keep those bikes running throughout the weekend. It's not just a one-day race, 3 days and probably a shakedown day. So let's say 4 days of riding is tough on these wagons. The riders then will probably scatter after this one with a big gap until we go to round number 3. Almost 2 months, probably a month and a half. So most riders will head back to base camp, head back to their home grounds, lick their wounds, rebuild the bikes, pack the kit bag once again, and get ready to go forward into the rest of their domestic and club seasons and regional championships. And then start looking down the calendar to see when the next big one is going to be. Patience.
Jammed up there.
Yeah, just take a breather.
See the slightly different line there? It's all about line choice.
Good thing is riders are very aware. I find at this level they are very, very polite for the most part.
And respectful, 100% right. There's Ash Brightmore. Wow, look at that jump, man, every single time.
Can't do that on my bicycle. I don't know how they do that on their bonies.
But it just shows you the body language is still showing that there's lots of energy left in the tank there.
Mr. Jones, Dylan Jones.
We also been getting lots of TV time.
And Walker's been very good. In fact, I believe Walker found a second wind about 3 laps ago. He looked very, very, very comfortable. Still able to push. And we just
also lots of potential there with Luke.
Yeah, I think so as well. I'm going to be going and chatting to him. That's his good bud. Jumping on down there. Either Garrel or Swanepoel. I want to say Swanepoel, actually, to be honest. I can't figure it out. Sorry, Ma. I'm saying Ma to Kim.
Going to get yourself into trouble then,
Yeah. Trademore Ma is going to be phoning me very soon after this one, I know. I will figure it out. I'll figure it out. But hope you guys are enjoying what we are bringing you. And great visuals coming down the pipe. You'll see a lot of social media videos, and there's a lot of media at these events, pre and post. So a lot of unpacking to do after these events. But I think this has been a very, very positive feed. Good show and great riding as well. And obviously we'll be able to announce in the week coming up what the points are going to be looking like. That'll probably come out tonight. So keep an eye online if you want to go follow the Hard Enduro World Championship page. As you see that line on the right-hand side coming up, the Hard Enduro World Championship.co.za. That'll tell you all of the points. They've got a good social media page as well. It'll tell you a little bit of history about the riders, history about the tour, where we're heading next, and most importantly, how the championship is looking coming in. Yeah, sorry about that. Hard Enduro World Championships.com, not as co.za, it's a .com. Sorry, I was getting used to saying the South African pages. So we go forward then and get ourselves ready for probably inside of the last 20 to 25 minutes of racing as we close out on round number 2 of the Hard Enduro World Championships. Exo Lagares, the 22nd running of this classic, historic race.
Well, we have passed the 2-hour mark now, sitting on 2 hours and 5 minutes at the moment.
Super action from all of the riders. Hard Enduro changing through the years, not just the big, solid 8-hour days, but the intensity coming up to incorporate different facets of the sport, enduro cross style, natural style, and then on the final day, a kind of combination of the two.
And of course, the night race as well.
In a bow. Yeah, the night race was an interesting one, and there was a lot of media about that. Unfortunately, we don't get to show a lot of it. But that quarry that they were using here, and obviously you can see we're working in a sand quarry. That's why there's so many boulders and sand kicking around. But yeah, they were able to put together quite a spectacular, quite a tricky section as well. I saw the blocks.
Good way of bringing the race to the people as well, I think, with these night races and things.
I think just bringing more to the spectators, giving more bang for the buck for the sponsors and the partners and all the riders involved. But end of the day, it is 3 solid days of riding. So it's a workout for these riders, and they'll be looking forward to a bubble bath tomorrow night for sure. Catch their breath and get ready for whatever comes next. So it's cool to just have a World Championship tour as we go back up onto the big hills.
Mario Romanis stuck straight bang in the middle
James.
of that.
Mario and James. So, starting to see a little bit of a dice coming in here. This will be for, I think it's going to be at number 4, because I think Brightmoor is ahead of this battle. Brightmoor's out there in no man's land, but here's a confirmation that it is Roman, and this is James Moore as the...
So Mario's managed to pass Moore, obviously.
James working hard there. I was just...
Graphics haven't adjusted it because they haven't gone through the next checkpoints.
Just went quiet there to watch James coming up there. You can see at the top of the hill, Mario has crested. James about to crest just to the top right-hand side of the screen there. James comes out there as we go back into the forest and pick up on Matt Green, who's about to get past and lapped. This is a rare sight by Mitch Brightmoor. So, Greenie, even though he's running, as you said, Daryl, just outside the top 10, it's a rare thing to see Greenie go a lap down.
Yeah, Matt's not going to be too happy with that because he's run bar and bar with Mitch in many of the races.
Yeah. I think he's just run out of gas there. I think he's just not enough food fuel going in there, not enough carbs and electrolytes and fuel to burn for the body. He just looked absolutely spent there. So I'll be interesting to get some feedback from Greenie on the race and see what went wrong, because I think nutrition was probably the story there.
Moret again.
Moret's definitely not fading. Moret looks different body style, different approach, different shoulders. And here's Greenie dancing his way through the rocks, and definitely the intensity isn't there. Not enough attack, and I think he's blown out. He looks tired. I feel bad for him, because he by his own expectations would expect to run inside the top 5.
Well, it's Mitch Brightmore looking really, really strong there. If he is in second, just behind Manny Lettenbeckler, really, really good result for Mitch Brightmore. And I've just noticed there's 2 e-bikes of the electric bikes, stock Vogs, coming in at the bottom of the screen there. So 9th and 10th overall. Are we going to have another 2 electric bikes in the top 10?
Yeah, that was quite a story, as Prosty heads on out there to take on another one. But yeah, it's like stories and championships and races within races. The electric bikes is massive for the sport, and just to have them racing on the tours and showing that development. We've spoken about the fact that the engines are amazing, and there's constant development in the batteries as Walker comes up and over the A-frame. But battery technology is absolutely flying as far as technology and speed goes, and that's going to be key.
But not all races will be suited to the electric bikes. A race like this, 2 hours, they seem to be able to get out of the bikes, but if it's longer than that...
Yeah. This is the story, and this is potentially why we're starting to see more of these sprint-style races coming into play. Not just to fit in with that, it's obviously to show a little bit more intensity and a bit more kind of thrills and spills to the crowd, and you get to see your riders multiple times. There's nothing worse than, you get to see the dudes once, but you get to see them multiple times on a lap race like this, especially when the intensity is up. Yakura, 614, we've seen him on this section before. Definitely one of his bogey sections. He's not super happy with this one. I see he's lost his saddle, so one of our helpers actually going to help him give his saddle back. Daryl, we've seen this many times where riders just start causing so much damage to the bikes, they're actually kicking parts of the bike off. And if you can't ride a bike without a seat nowadays, you really need that thing to pivot off and move. Commiserations. The marshal, his head was in the right place, trying to help things out. So hats off to all the marshals and the helpers. They've been out there for the entire day, not just the pro race. They were out there in the big morning event as well. So they'll be getting smoked, and they'll have picked up about 1,000 bikes by now as well. Tough to start picking these bikes up at this late stage of the day.
He's in trouble there. You can see body language tells me that he's blown. He'll just want to be able to get out of there and make his way back to the pits.
No, it's not just the tech zones as well. You can go down on the lowland sections, just maybe tuck in the front end. Arm pump is a big thing on a tech zone like this. This looks like Toby Shaw on the Eurotech machine. He's really starting to make a name for himself. I like the fact that these guys are fully committed to doing the entire tour and getting themselves out there. Green number board shows he's got a long future ahead of him.
Yeah, lots of juniors. Big mud streak on his back from that little fall. But the juniors are definitely up and coming. So the young guns, they're coming, and they're coming hard.
It's funny, isn't it? Like the sport used to be about bringing experience, but now, more and more youngsters. I'd say the average age of the pro gate, not counting Jarvis, by the way, is probably around about 30 to 35 on average. It's generally quite a young field.
And normally at about 35, 36, 37, the guys start dropping off a little bit, and then the youngsters start coming through. So, exception, of course. Let's not talk about Graham Jarvis.
Yeah, that's what I say. He's the one guy that is the exception to the rule, and the GOAT is bringing his years of experience into the development of the JRV, which came out of the box and took a win. So, there's no better debut than that. But he says we haven't really scratched the surface of what that bike's capable of. Constantly changing. There's Billy in the background there. Sorry, just changing my thought there. There goes Billy. So we need to keep an eye on these kind of positions and understand if he is actually in danger of getting caught or closing down on anyone. But it looks like he's been in no man's land for the last maybe 4 or 5 laps.
Well, yeah.
By that, I mean no one around him, just no one to chase and no one on his wheel. Here's the Juggernaut. dancing his way through. Picked up the deal in the off-season to get onto the X-Grip team, so his teammates are eye-wateringly fast, Brightmore Bros. They're closing in on the end of this one. It's going to get wild from here on out. Getting a little bit tight as we close in on the end. Way past the 2-hour marker. So plenty of the pros are now onto their final lap of the event. Once again, you join us on the closing stages of the second round of the Hard Enduro World Championship Racing Tour as Billy Bolt puts on the show. This is him closing down and the start of the end of the lap, which is the Enduro cross section. So we'll try and follow Billy through here and see if he's actually going to be starting another lap. It looks like on paper that he's going to. And apologies for us being a little bit vague here. We're just trying to get some green lights on whether the flag is coming out now or onto the last lap. Or onto the next lap, should I say. But Billy, he's had a relatively good weekend. He can hold his head high. Happy with the number 2 spot if that is where he's positioned right now, which I think it is. But yeah, really battling with that injury on his hand. And that's clearly held him back from the pace that he would want to go after his good buddy and sparring partner on other sides of the coin. And that is old Manny Lettenbichler, who's been up against Billy Bolt for the last couple of seasons now. That has been the war on the Championship Racing Tour. So Manny Lettenbichler pushing on there to try and get the job done. 9 laps done for Manny Lettenbichler. He has been charging on out there for just under 2 hours and 15 minutes. So Lettenbichler will be closing in on the finish of this one. He really hasn't dropped off the pace much at all. 9 laps in 2 hours and 15 minutes. So he really hasn't been hanging around at all. Sub 20-minute laps. Kept the intensity and the energy high the whole way through the event. And it looks like he's going to go on and take the final day. The massive 20 points haul, which will see him extend off the front in his challenge to try and win yet another number
1 minutes and 6 seconds.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we are now officially on the last lap. We should see our race leaders home in just under or just over 14 minutes, give or take, as the rest of the riders are just desperate to see the finish line come. But yeah, 2 hours and 14 to 15 minutes. We've seen 9 laps go under the back wheel of Manny Lettenbichler, just showing the pace that he's able to do. Just fantastic. Really love the place that we are in at the moment. We go from France, we hit Portugal, and you can see why there's so much buy-in from this area.
And
just inland.
Next up to the US.
Yeah, US.
Big stretch, really expensive race. You know, the travel for everybody to go from Europe across to the US. But, you know, true meaning of a world championship calendar.
Yeah, you got to hit the continents, as they say. So everyone's starting to hang out at the finish line here. That is our camera crew jumping on down there, ready, waiting, and the checkered flag will be gripped and waiting to be unfurled for our race winners here to celebrate our 22nd finish at the XL Lagares. An amazing story. Just shows how much support there is and continued support for hard enduro extreme riding here in Portugal. The first time we were here, 2004. It sounds like just the other day, but yeah, many tires have rolled under the bridge since then, as the riders are just desperate to get the finish line done now. Intensity is what it's all about, and many riders are starting to feel the fade. That was Mr. Jones, Dylan Jones on the Trademore Shoko in the background there, just puzzling a little bit. Not that he doesn't know where to go, he just doesn't know where to look for the energy.
It's crazy though. Yesterday there was 5 hours in the saddle with 10 points up for grabs, and today high intensity, 20 points up to grab. 2 hours, 20 in the saddle.
Yeah, I think
double amount. I mean, it's double amount of the time. So they should have actually got 40 points yesterday and 20 today.
I was thinking that as well. And you can see the guys like a couple of the riders' strategy. We'll talk about this probably at the next time that we're on live together, Daryl. But yeah, just to touch on it so that we can go back to it. one or two of the riders coming up with weird strategies at this event, deciding to not actually ride some of the shows.
Yeah.
And that was Billy Bolt. I'm referring to him not actually lining up for the night race just to save some energy for the next big day. He knew it was going to be a big day in the saddle.
Also, no points up to grabs on the night race.
There is race leader. So this is our race leader, Manny Lettenbichler. Every time.
Oh, he's followed so closely there by Mitch Brightmore.
Hey, where'd that come from? Crikey, Mick.
Didn't realize they were so close together. It's the first time we've seen them both in the screen at the same time.
Exactly. We just haven't seen them in the same shot. So this is for the win. So that's a great story for Mitch Brightmore. He is now on the wheel. So at worst case, that's going to be 17 points. And that could see Mitch really start to change things up in the championship. So I said the Brightmore boys have been coming on like a freight train the last couple of years, in particular the last 6 months. But what a story. That was 3 seconds, the gap.
Manny looked back and he didn't like what he saw there.
Great that we are staying there just to check where Billy and the rest of the chasing pack were. It should be Billy and potentially one of the second Brightmore brother, Ash. Not one of, there's only 2 of them. Ash was in good shape there as well. Here's Mario. Here's Super Mario. So there is Mario, and he had a shadow in the flavor of James Moore last time around, but James was in trouble. He looked like he was really battling on that last climb when we saw him, but we'll try and pick up on that dice to see who is in the 3, 4, and 5 battle. But by our count, it should have been Ash Brightmore, Mario Roman, and James Moore, but we'll confirm that as soon as we can get a clear visual. But we can tell you right now, the dice is on, Daryl. I didn't see that coming at all.
No, it'll be super interesting to see when we get visuals of the finish line of exactly who's who. I'm pretty sure I got a shot of James Moore a little bit earlier on there, but I wasn't sure. But we'll have to wait until we get to the finish line to see.
Now, what we can confirm is our top 5 are definitely on their final lap, heading to the finish line. And they've been putting in 14-minute lap times. So it's definitely inside of a 10-minute countdown until we see the checkers come out to crown our champion of round number 2, the champion of XL Lagares.
So in the next 5 to 6 minutes, I reckon we're going to see them.
My stats, Manny Lettenbichler never won this event. So this is going to be a first-time win. And that is going to be a very exciting story that we will cover as we look forward to see what's going to be happening. Oh, there's Luke Walker helping hand to Sandra Gomez. Not just because it's Sandra, but it was the rider that he was on the sector with. So Luke Walker working there to get that beater up, over, and through the sector. Sandra's looking back just to make sure that the rider will be able to get himself up. Walker should be able to pick himself up there. That was the line that he chose. Sandra's just going to try and drag the wheel for him and help if she needs to.
Yeah, of course.
A little bit of roll. Well done, Sandra.
That's all you need, just to roll the front tire. There's James Moore, just came to the screen now.
So that was a great little story, and well done, Sandra and Walker. And riders just constantly looking to see where is the line that they need to go to. Whoa, rider went down hard there. That was Gomez. Is it Gomez? Yeah. Alfredo Gomez going down hard there. And Tommy the Gun Scales, one of the junior riders, goes on through. So riders just making those uncharacteristic, and those are just tired. Those are tired errors. Can't hold the front brake anymore. Here's the Italian stallion getting it done there.
Lorenzo Gondola also had a good solid race.
Yeah, he had a really good outing at the opening round. Very, very good. But I think he battled with the conditions out here today. He'll get points, though. He's definitely inside that magic top 15, probably closer to the top 10. But, a tough one for him. Definitely a style of track that wasn't perfect for his particular attacking riding style.
There we have it.
Okay, there's the gap. It is probably 4 seconds now. So they're marking each other and matching each other. But Manny Lettenbichler is just going to have to keep his heart rate down, not make any mistakes. There's Billy.
And that's the climb just below where they are at the moment.
Yeah. So Billy goes through there. That's Mr. Jones, who's decided to do a bit of helping hand there.
All right, so that's where Billy is. And where is Kubachev?
Yeah.
Mario and James Moore.
So Jonesy looks like he's got a problem with his gear shifter there as Walker comes through. So Jones will probably turn around and try and help Walker, because Walker is going to be putting him a lap down. He'll try and help him if he can, if he looks over his shoulder. But yeah, that was Billy going through there. There's Mario. Oh, is it Mario? No, it's not Mario. Sorry, I got excited there. But I think Mario is not too far away. I remember him being in this batch of riders.
They're either already through or coming up shortly. And I think it might be.
All right, so this is heading to the flag. Daryl, sorry to jump in there. So one more time through. We'll probably be traveling the whole way through the Enduro cross track with Manny Lettenbichler. So never a win at XL Lagares. Multiple champions through the last couple of years, though, when we have hit the rest of the tours. And Manny Lettenbichler hammering the nail on the competition. We kind of saw this one coming yesterday when he came home with an 8-minute gap over the very best in the world. But he has put on a show today. He's never seen anyone else's back tire apart from the guys that he was putting a lap down and going through the rest of the traffic. But Lettenbichler definitely coming to form here. He had a good day out in France. He had a good weekend out in France, but he didn't gel with the format. Now he's figured out the format. Now it looks like he is going to be very, very hard to beat. He hasn't dropped out of 15 minutes on the laps as well. So he's been metronomic in his approach. Brightmoor not too far behind him, so it's not over. Don't even say that a tucked front end could cost him the win here. But it's going to be all the way to the flag, all barring any small mistakes. There's nothing too gnarly on the track, but it's going to be Manny Lettenbichler that will take the win. We need to go back to the flag to make sure that he's going to come in. And Brightmoor isn't going to catch him up. But the top two riders on the Enduro cross track heading to the checkers. One or two riders still puzzling their way through. There was a quick shot there of Matty Green, but it is Manny Lettenbichler and Brightmoor that should be eyeing up the finish line. Here's Gomez after that small crash that he had. He's just looking over his shoulder there. He wants this day done. He seems to have cracked on nicely towards the end of the race. I'm up for correction to see what lap count he is on at the moment, so I'll hold back on that call. But a former two-time champion having a tough day at the office out here at the 22nd ever running of the XL Lagares event out here in Portugal. All the riders then taking on the hill for the last time. At the bottom there, I think it's Greeny just waiting for a bit of, revs the bike clean there. So Greeny is going to go for a nice big splat up here on the outside line, and he'll be making his way home. He'll be back into the finish line in about 10 minutes from this spot here to wrap up his day and try and claim that top 10, maybe just outside the top 10 out here today for Greeny.
Looks like he up and cleared that. He got out nicely.
Yeah, I heard that nicely. Nothing sounded too ugly there. And Greeny loves the people as well, so he'll probably stop and give them a rev and give them a high five and say thank you for giving me that last little boost of energy to get the job done and get up and over these final challenges. So by now, it should have been a flag out for Manny Lettenbichler and Mitch Brightmoor, should I say. And they should have seen the checkers by now. So we'll just go down into the pit area shortly and check on what the vibe is down there and wait to see. I think that was Mario coming up there in the background there. So yeah, that means Billy is going to be in the 3 spot. Mario coming up in the background. We just saw a flash there. In fact, I heard one of the spectators shout the name Mario. So that always helps us, having some spies out there. So it'll be Billy making his way home. He'll be down into the Enduro cross section in the next 5 minutes or so. But we are closing things out here as we leave the forest and head into the open sections of the Enduro cross section. But Daryl, Manny's done a great job. What a great approach to this event as well. Because I think he wasn't super happy with how things went down in France.
Yeah, in France then there was a bit of a... Oh, there we go.
All right, let me jump into this one then. So Manny Lettenbichler, a first-time win at XL Lagares and at an important time as well. Manny Lettenbichler for the Red Bull KTM factory team. Pushed hard at the end there as well. Mitch Brightmoor for X-Grip Gas did a great job to to get himself up there into a 2 spot. He gave it everything he had. And this is what we said. I think the Brightmoors are going to be big threats. It's just going to have to be the situation that suits their riding style. And there was enough out there to make things nice and close. We'll have to catch up with the post-race interview with Manny at some point to see if he actually rolled off. But he looked like he had that thing very much in control. Smiles for miles, as always, with Manny. And confirmation of 20 points in the bag. Thank you very much. But also 17 points in the back pocket for Mitch Brightmore. Is going to show that he's going to come in as a player as we move forward into the rest of the championship. Won't be too long until we see Billy Bolt come in, and no doubt he is going to be wanting to rush straight to the medics and make sure his hand is in good shape. Oh, sorry about those words there, but I just wanted to hear how he was going to react to that, but he's a happy chappy, and he has definitely had a good day. First time winner at the XL Lagares, the multiple and reigning world champion Manny Lettenbichler on top as we roll into round number 3 of the series.
Mitch Brightmore has to feel really, really good finishing so close to Manny.
Yeah, everyone coming in now, so all riders coming to the finish line. Luke Walker can be proud of himself there as well. He's put on a great show. He showed the world what he is capable of. Wasn't super happy with France, but I think that was kind of the vibe for everyone. Everyone left France scratching their heads a little bit, trying to understand the new format. Now it's clear. Everyone knows how to approach the new format. The dial is set, and everyone can go forward for the rest of the season and challenge for podiums, positions, and points. Gomez just went through there as we see Wei Zhang changing lines and trying to make some passes out there. Just positions himself nicely. Don't think the riders, as he made the pass on there, would have been too perturbed by that. It was a clean pass. And Wade also, remember, he came in to this season off a great 2025. And he's also trying to get himself up there, back into where he needs to be to challenge for those magical top 5s. Jonesy just allowing the riders to come through. He's very tired, you can see that. That's Ash Brightmore coming through there as well. So Ash looking to try and close out another top 6 or 7 finish for him. But down at the finish line, they'll be looking around to see where Billy Bolt is to try and conclude our podium in the gold category.
I'm asking, where is Teo Kubachev and Mario Roman?
Yeah, that's going to be James the story as well. Remember, there's a couple of riders that come on strong at the end, and one of those is Mario. He really piles it on. So he does something in that last hour, sometimes 30 minutes of the event. Stay with Wade as we come in and close out on the lower section. Wade still got quite a way to go on the lap, actually. So still got to do those big forest climbs, stay in the river for a bit before that all happens. There's Tommy the Gun Scales. He's waiting for last little obstacle before he can come through and close things out. Not quite sure what they're waiting for here. And then back into the big climb. As Prosty throws it up there. There's Wado. He's starting to make that climb through. Oh, right. It's a wall there. Okay, so this is the beginning of the finish section. So it looks like a couple of riders missed out a part of the track. And this is where they're trying to just hammer the nail and finish up and over a vertical wall to see the checkers.
Bit of a sting in the tail at the end.
I don't know if I'd be too happy about that one. The rider's really tired by this stage of the game. Not quite enough run up as well.
Yo!
Oh, hey! Yeah, kind of saw that one coming. Vertical. There's Kabachev. So...
Okay, so Teo, there must be confirmation of our third place then.
Yeah, apologies for missing our way there. We're just trying to understand what is actually running here. So Kabachev goes through there. That's Greeny. But as we said, Greeny is a lap down, so he'll be frustrated with that situation. There is a line there to bring the riders to the flag. But yeah, we're closing in on the end of this one. A little bit of chaos at the end there. Apologies for the breakup in the signal. But yeah, confirmation of Manny Lettenbichler taking the final flag there, and that's going to see him run off the front and get himself ready for a little bit of a break. Probably the riders have had a tough couple of weeks racing in Europe, to try and understand how the new format works and how the system works and how to approach it. Here's Mario Roman. So we wait for confirmation, but by our count, it did look like Kabachev there coming through. That was definitely Mario Roman, and he was confirmed on the lead lap. Until we get confirmation, we won't be able to green that light for you. So there's Billy. So it was Kabachev that did come through there, Mario Roman, and then Billy. So Billy's had some major problems towards the end there, and I think that's all to do with that injury on his hand. He'll probably be trying to downplay it, but yeah, you'd expect Billy to be able to run with a head or not too far off the back wheel of Manny. That was James Moore. Yeah, James Moore. Just same as France. Everything got real close in those last couple of Ks.
He's getting a bit of a help up there. Riders, of course, can help each other.
So remember, why they are pushing so hard just to make one position is because the position inside of the top 5 is separated by 3 points. So when you start adding points up for a championship, it gets a little bit busy, and the guys are desperate to get those numbers. This is a brutal way to finish a race. These guys and hanging, trying to just bring it to the finish line. All right, third time's the job done. But remember, Lettenbichler is going to walk away with 20 points. Brightmoor is going to take it down for a 17. And Billy lost some points today. You're going to see a change up in the order between second, third, and fourth with a lot of movers and shakers. And one of those particular movers, Mitch Brightmoor and Mario Roman and Kabachev, that's looking like it's going to be a bun fight with, unfortunately, Billy Bolt losing some valuable points here on the final day of asking. Looks like we are going to see the Starks breaking their way inside of the top 10 come the end of play. As Carlson comes on through, still going to see a top 10 for sure on the electric bikes. The Stark Varks looking so good. They seem to have got their mapping right, really strong for this kind of sector of racing. One of the riders just rebuckling his boot there in the finish as we start to close on out at the end of this amazing event. We hope you guys have enjoyed the live stream that we've been bringing you. And that's the idea of showing you all the action from around the world. The 2026 Hard Enduro World Championship Series. 8 rounds of championship to look forward to and close out on the championship. So far, Daryl, the key riders that we're expecting coming into the season are delivering the goods.
Yeah, they certainly are, and the fighters there on the FIM Hard World Championship with Manny, Billy, Teo, Mitch hasn't disappointed, and Wade Young, and in the juniors, of course, the big battle between James Moore and Ash.
Yeah, really excited about that. We'll start referencing as soon as we see some more points coming in. The Youth Championship will be a talking point as well.
Ash Brightmoor came in here after winning the Allestrem junior category, and of course James Moore has taken the win here at Lagares. So we should have to check on the tally on the points, because of course we had the...
You want to thank someone? Thanks to my team, Sherco Factory Racing, and to my girlfriend. They were here supporting me all day.
Muito bem, uma grande salva de palmas para o Theodore Kabashkiev, que caiu logo no início, mas conseguiu recuperar até à segunda posição. Ele disse que vinha com grande vontade de vencer, infelizmente não conseguiu, mas de qualquer das formas, parabéns a ele, à Sherco Factory, à namorada.
Little reactions there. I'm sure we're going to be jumping in and out of a couple of interviews down there to understand how things are looking. No doubt Manny's gone to himself pretty, but yeah, I'm excited to see some feedback from these guys. They definitely had a workout, but it did look like it was a tough weekend for them.
It wasn't the best for me, but then super happy with my riding today. You know, I've really enjoyed today. I think it showed in my riding. And to put a battle up to Manny on the last lap was yeah, a crazy experience, and hopefully I can do it more this year.
You want to thank someone?
All the crowd, you know, it's been sick just seeing the side of the track lined with all the crowd cheering. It's a cool feeling, and hopefully you'll be back next year.
Congratulations. E ele a dizer que para o ano com certeza está cá. Thank you.
Good words for Mitch Brightmoor there, taking the fight to Manny Lettenbichler. Sometimes that is what you need in this sport. Amazing situation here. So prime conditions out here at the 22nd running of XL Lagares, our second round of the Hard Enduro Racing Series. If you've enjoyed this, stay tuned and follow the page, hardenduro.worldchampionship.com. We'll keep all the action pumping. There'll be a lot of media to unpack at the end of this one, but all very, very, very positive. A tough, long day to set things up for the final intense sprint day to decide the big points coming out and heading to a small gap, and then the US of A for round number 3 out at Silver Kings. We're coming close to the end of our live feed. Just trying to get some interviews down there at the finish line as the rest of the Warriors are out on the course trying to draw a line. Well, I think the track held up relatively well. Obviously, we expect to see it blow up a little bit. These guys are cresting very, very steep climbs, but yeah, no riders really went out with any injuries that we could report back on. But yeah, it was tough. The track was tough.
Yeah, I think the track was really well balanced, and I'm just glad that they went into like bottlenecks where it would really affect the pros. They had to wait a couple of minutes here and there, but all in all, I think it worked out really well. I think it's a good mix, good track, and the good results at the end of the day.
Yeah, lovely place to come and visit and come racing as well. So as we see our last few riders left out on the track with whatever energy they have left in the tank for their hydration, nutrition and petrol, it is going to be a tough push to get the job done and arrive at the finish line. But yeah, the cream as always rises to the top. I'm very excited to see what Mitch Brightmoor is capable of. I think he needed that little boost. He knows he can run with the big dogs, but now he knows he can go and fight with the big dogs. And that's going to be an interesting story. We'll keep an eye on social media and the press as well. And if we can get a chat with him at the finish line, we'll try and understand if Billy Bolt is good or if he is in trouble with that hand. So I think that result with him down in 5th place tells me he's in trouble. At the moment then, Manny Leckenbichler, as you can see from the graphics on the left-hand side, is your 2026 champion coming out of round number 2 and takes his first win. Here's Sandra down at the finish line. No doubt going to have a chat with our on-site Portuguese dude with a mic.
Vamos então a hablar aqui bocadito com Sandra. Sandra, antes de más, sí, espero. Muchos parabéns pela tua resiliência e estares aqui com nosotros em XL Lagares. Sensaciones de estos 3 días para ti.
Bueno, realmente ha sido mi primera Lagares, porque el año del COVID no cuento. Me lo he pasado bien, tenía muchas ganas de llegar a los ríos famosos de Lagares. Ayer había mucha gente allí animando y ha sido muy divertido, y hoy he salido muy mal, pero mentalidad de ir pasando pilotos a mi ritmo. No sé cómo he quedado, pero me lo he pasado muy bien. Obrigado a todos.
¿Quieres agradecer a alguien especial de tu equipa?
No, bueno, al equipo, a mi hermano que está haciendo un buen trabajo con todo el equipo y a todo el público que ha sido fantástico.
Muito bem, muito obrigado por teres vindo a Portugal. Uma grande salva de palmas para a Sandra, piloto espanhola.
Sandra just having a chat to the locals there, but let's just run through the shopping list at the graphics on the left-hand side there. Lettenbichler ahead of Brightmoor. That was close as well. Kabachev, he's going to jump up in the rankings as well with that number 3 spot. Roman ahead of Bolt. That's our 4 and 5. And Moore, taking up our brothers. Wayne did well. And Collison has squeaked a number 9. Love that. Mondola also makes it 2 of the factory Shokos inside of the top 10. I wouldn't say necessarily any big surprise results. But Brightmoor, he's got the belief now. And I think he is going to be really cracking on to try and get the job done. If he can maybe just do a qualifier a little bit higher and get those margin points. And I think points and margins will be how the season is going to be reviewed from here on out. This is going to be a championship that will be won by 1 point. It's not going to be a breakaway this time.
Well, at the moment, it looks like Manny will have 61 points. Tail will move into second with 46 points. Billy will be third with 44. And Mitch Bridle will be fourth, 21 points behind the three. That's how tight it is at the moment. I mean, Manny has got a long lead at the moment.
I think a conversation to have is, obviously I've been saying the words all the Kings a lot. That's where we're heading for round number 3 of the championship as we move across the oceans into the US of A. And I think, just off the top of my head, there's probably 4 or 5 Americans that can steal some points off the rest of the Europeans.
Vamos falar com o piloto jovem da classe Youth, Robert Demon. You come from South Africa, yes? Welcome to Portugal. This is 3 days. Really nice or no?
These past 3 days have been really good. Really happy with the way everything went. And yeah, I'll definitely be back for more. It was such a good event, and yeah, I can't complain.
You want to thank someone?
I'd just like to say a huge thanks to the Trademore Sherco Racing team, Kim and Steph. They've taken me so far, and I'm grateful for the opportunity they've given me to be here. And yeah, I've just got to prove to them it's worth it.
Okay, thank you very much. Congratulations, piloto da África do Sul.
That's Damon Garrell, as you said, from South Africa, riding for the Trademore Sherco squad, racing in the newly formed youth category. So he's out there on a 125 Screamer. And yeah, he looks like he is loving life on the European circuit. So Daryl, confirmation of the results then. Manny Lettenbichler ahead of Brightmoor and Kabachev. That's the magic top 3. You've already said it's going to change things up in the championship. Mario Roman came on strong at the end. Billy Bolt has problems. You can see that hand is an issue. James Moore also looked like he had some problems towards the end. We'll have to find out what that was. Ash Brightmoor is his closest rival in the Juniors Championship. Wade Young, a top 10, gave him a number 8. Eddie Carlson takes the Stock Vark, the electric-powered machine, to a number 9. And Lorenzo Gondola gets his Sherco and gives us the magic top 10. An incredible event and great racing throughout. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show that we've been bringing you. And hats off to all the riders and everyone and all the spectators that were enjoying the show that was XL Lagares 2026, the 22nd ever running of this amazing event. Hold your breath as we get ready for round number 3, Silver Kings, on the 18th to the 20th of June in the US of A. I'll be Matt Smith alongside Daryl Curtis, and we hope to catch you next time on round 3 of the Hard Enduro World Championship Tour in 2026.
pode ser contigo. Está bem. Vai lá, vai lá. Ricardo, posso desligar, não? Ok. Lagares, eu disse só para ver se há mais um minuto ou dois da Lagares. Sou o único nos barcos que estou a dar uma bici. É 2, 3 minutos, eu vou ir ter contigo. Começa a desligar. Já, deixa.